hide my webcam. Okay. So I probably should have said hide. Well,
Yes, ma'am.
stop sharing my webcam, show my webcam, hide all webcams. So I think when I was talking with Nicole and Osea, I clicked on show my webcam.
Yes, ma'am. You're still showing, yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize it was still showing. Okay, so on your end, you're able to hide all of it, and then when it's my time to speak, I can make it show.
Actually, you can hide your camera and then yes.
Okay, got it. Okay. So now what I see right now in the webcam is stop sharing my webcam, show my webcam, or hide all webcams. So should I hit the stop sharing my webcam?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, did that do it?
That's perfect.
Okay.
No, the only thing I can do, now I don't see it anymore. I can hear you though. But you can mute your mind just in case, there's any background.
And then when I come back in, I'm just going to hit share my webcam.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you so much, Marcos.
You're welcome. Good morning, team. All audio and video checks are good for webinar. I'm now going into the background.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call this Tampa City Council meeting to order. At this time, please stand. We'll have a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. We'll have roll call, please.
Carlson. Here. Hurtak. Commendation.
Here.
Henderson. Vieira. Here. Miranda. Here. And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
All right. May I have a motion to adopt the minutes from the October 5th regular meeting, 2023, and the evening session on October 12th? We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda, second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We have some housekeeping before we approve the agenda. It's pretty lengthy. So item number 1, I have a memo received from Councilwoman Henderson that she will be arriving at 10 o'clock today. I'm submitting that memo to the clerk. We have that. I'd like to welcome the Hillsborough County Bar Leadership Institute class that will be observing today. I know you're in the room. If you want to stand, we'll recognize you. I know we have quite a few individuals. Thank you for being here. We hope you enjoyed today's meeting. All right, we'll go into the approval of the agenda. So item number 1, Hart is here. I see Mr. Drainville and other representatives. They will be presenting items 2 and 3 together, so we'll be taking 2 and 3. I need a motion to move items number 8, 9, and 10 to be heard before general public comment.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Vieira. All in favor? Aye. We have a memo requesting item number 11 to be continued to November 2nd. There's just some technicalities there. So we're going to move item 11 to November 2nd. We have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Carlson. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have a memo from Councilmember Carlson requesting that items number 12, 13, 14, 23, and 36 to be pulled for discussion later under staff reports. Motion from Councilmember Carlson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. We have a request from Osea Wynn for item number 23 to be pulled for discussion and be heard with items 74 through 77. I'm sorry? Oh, you already included it there. Okay, so that's already taken care of. All right, I'll do it for clarity. So item number 23 will be heard with items number 74 through 77 under staff reports. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion from
Second.
Councilmember Carlson, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, I have a motion to move items number 83, 78, and 84 in that order to be heard first after public comments. May I have a motion? 83, 78, and 84.
I'll make the motion, but we're going to listen to the accommodations first before that.
Yeah, this is,
Okay, got it.
This
No
is after,
problem.
yeah. All right, so motion from Councilmember Miranda, do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Carlson, all in favor?
Aye.
We have a memo requesting that item number 89, let's go to 89, be continued to November 16th. We have a
Second.
motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then finally, we have a memo requesting item number 90 to be continued to December 7th.
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilmember Miranda. Do we have a second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor?
Aye.
Just a reminder that we have an alcoholic beverage suspension hearing at 1:30 p.m. That's just a reminder. And we will set a 5-minute timer for council comments, and we'll be using that today. I have everything written down, so bear with me today. It's very complicated. Is there anything else before I ask for a motion? Yes? Oh, let's go through staff reports to see who needs to be here and who doesn't need to be here. All right. Item number 73, is there an administrative update? No? So item number 73 is gone. Item number 74, we will have staff because Ms. Nguyen had asked that we hear that all together. So 74, 5, 6, and 7, we will have staff, and we have memos from Ms. Nguyen. All right. Item number 78, we will have staff. There was a request to hear that in order. Item number 79, that is a $6.4 million contract. Would you like Mr. Baird here for that?
I'm fine.
No? All right, there is a memo, so, okay. No staff on 79. Item number 80. Do we need anybody here for 80? This is, no? All right. No staff. Item number 81. Okay, so no staff. Item number 82. Do we need staff here? No? No staff. Thank you very much. And we have memos for all those. Item number 83, we will have somebody here for that. Item number 84, we will have somebody here for that. Item number 85, this is regarding the dog. There's a presentation, so we'll keep staff for 85. Item number 86, there is a written report, and that is Councilwoman Henderson's motion. So let's just,
Leave it on.
yeah, let's wait for that. We'll keep 86 on, for staff. Item number 87,
Yes, please.
all right. Item number 88,
Yes, please.
yes. All right. 89 and 90 have already been taken care of, so that concludes that. May I have a motion to approve the agenda and the addendum? All right, we have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Item number 1, Councilmember Miranda, you have a presentation?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. Council members, members in the audience, I'm deeply moved that I have a commendation to make for a good friend of ours in the city that's been working with us for many, many years. And I believe it's, 4 decades. He started here in 1985, and no, I was not here, in case some council members think I was here all the whole time. No, I was not, but let me clear that up. He has been an inspiration on what he does. He is an individual who comes to work every day, does his duty, and I'm going to read the commendation, if I may, because when you're here for 4 decades, you're just about as old as I am, twice. But Kelvin Thornton is an individual who understands what he does and does what he understands very, very well. And I don't say this too many things about too many individuals here, but I heard of a secret today that I don't know if I should say it. Tell me how your kids are named. You didn't think I knew that, did you? Huh?
We have 5 kids, and when my wife had my son, I wanted to name him Calvin Jr., and she said no, because she wanted to name him after her grandfather, which was Ashton. So our oldest daughter was Sierra, and so she said, why don't we name every child with your initials? So our oldest daughter is Sierra. My son name is Ashton. My next oldest daughter is Leanna. My next oldest daughter is Victoria. She named after her mom. And the last one is Ilea. And we paid good money and tried to have that in, and we were not able to have the in. God said that was enough. So we tell everybody that the last child is no more children. So.
I thought it was none after the previous 4.
Could have been 2.
Well, thank you for I thought that was a humorous thing, but a factual thing. And you've got 4 lovely daughters here, and I'm happy that all came to recognize you. It's a pleasure to recognize you, Calvin Thornton, for the nearly 4 decades of service to the citizens of the city of Tampa. During that time, you were continuously progressed through the nuisance of the world's transportation, as well gaining the incumbent leadership and qualities In 2007, you achieved the coveted rank of Engineer 4. Among your lengthy biography, it is important to recognize your involvement in the expansion of what? The city of Tampa. Not called what? New Tampa.
Yes,
We couldn't name anything else,
that is true.
right?
That is true.
As a city lead engineer and planner, you were responsible for negotiating and overseeing transportation, components of the single DRI, the properties north of University of South Florida, and the land is composed as New Tampa. You also were very instrumental in implementing the scooter and bike program for the city. And that was many years ago. You were one of the only one, I think there was only one that came in a bicycle to work, and that was you. That one I remember,
Yes,
even though I wasn't here in the 80s.
Yes.
But it's my pleasure to present this well-deserved retirement commendation signed by all 7 council members on a new format that now you can read the names.
Excellent. Excellent.
Before, you had on the wall, you don't know who it was just a scribble. And we changed that, not because of you, because it needed to be changed.
Thank you.
But here's your commendation. It's your turn to the mic, and I'm sure you're going to do very well in your retirement because you always stay busy.
Thank you so much, sir. You know, working for the city of Tampa has been a tremendous pleasure, and I've saw so many wonderful things and had an opportunity to do so many wonderful things. And as many of you know, no man can ever do anything unless they have a very supportive family. My wife has been very a big part of the city of Tampa family and how she have made it possible for me to do so many wonderful things. I mean, with just the raising of our children, she volunteered to go every day to Phillips Shore Elementary. We had 4 kids in Phillips Shore, and she volunteered so much, and she had an education degree, so they asked her to be the substitute teacher. She was so wonderful at that when the 5th grade teacher left, they gave her the full-time classroom with the 5th grade teacher. So she taught there for a year, seeing that success. They made her a teacher for a whole year for the 5th grade. So just seeing all of that, we thought, wow, this is great. So we became a homeschool family. And to just kind of give you some idea, and I know many of you in the history, my family, we do and tell the story of the Black Seminoles. Most of you know that Florida is the Gullah Geechee Heritage Trail. So we tell the story of that. We participated in the Tampa Bay History Museum, Charlotte County Historic Society, Frontier Days, Polk, a historic L.B. Brown House, the Battle of Okeechobee, Alafai River Rendezvous, which is one of the largest historic groups and we have a huge rendezvous there every year. And I would like to invite you guys out. I know each year since you love history, this is the flyer, and I'll leave here with you. So just to let you know some of the wonderful things that my family have done and some of the and I could not have done them without the support of the city of Tampa as well as a wonderful wife. So thank you very much for this accommodation, and we hope to see you guys somewhere for some of the history events.
Thank you very much, sir. Congratulations. You make us proud, and your family is very proud today with you here. You're a wonderful human being. Councilman Miranda said it all. What a beautiful story, how the naming of the children, and I'm looking at, when he started with the C, I go, wait a minute, then I saw Calvin, and I got it, but 38 years of service to this community. We appreciate you very, very much. Congratulations, and we wish you all the best moving forward. And thank you for sharing with us that history. I think that's very, very important. We are lovers of history up here, so thank you for that. So, Councilmember Carlson, would you like to say anything?
Yeah, I would love to hear you speak about the Black Seminoles. I was just reading about it the other day and how the U.S. Army came in and captured some of them and enslaved them again. And it's a really interesting story that I think we need to tell. By coincidence, my mom grew up in around Lake Okeechobee. She went to school with Jimmy Billy, the former chief of the Seminoles.
Yes.
And so I would love to spend some time talking about that sometime. But thank you for your years of service. Thank you for bringing your beautiful family, and thank you for their support for you. Proud that you can you've been so successful raising your family within the city. As you go forward, please keep us posted on what you're doing, and if you see us making any mistakes or screwing up anything you created, just call us and tell us so we can fix it. And look forward to hearing from you in the future. Please stay in touch.
Thank you, sir.
I also want to say thank you. And, you know, it's so unique. We have people, and we do these commendations. You are the first person to really focus on your family, and that really speaks to who you are. And so I think that's really fabulous, and I just want to say congratulations that you are finally able to retire and focus fully on your family, because it sounds like that is where your heart is, and having everyone here today is really excellent. And thank you for sharing that information about the history. I think that's wonderful, and what it says is that you have a lot more to do. You just now have the time to do it. So congratulations. Wishing you all the best in your retirement.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I really appreciate when we have city employees and we recognize their accomplishments, especially along an historic career. You know, it's not just you up there. You have really all of the city employees are standing on your shoulders, and you're a representative of what it means to be a public servant. And I think that I love listening about your career. And I appreciate the fact that you've served the public and you've served the people and the taxpayers of Tampa so well for so many years. Just a warning, I retired from a federal FAA position after 32 years, and look at me now, so retirement sometimes doesn't always stick. So just be careful, there's always something out there looming for you. And I look at your family, and all I can think of, they've got all these beautiful daughters, and I think, oh my God, at one point you were raising all those teenagers. God bless you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And thank you. And thank you, Councilman Miranda, for bringing this. I mean, you obviously have evidence right before eyes of a life well lived, which is, you know, working for such a long time in the city of Tampa and obviously being so respected professionally. That's so important. But, you know, what's a true blessing in life and what comes from God Almighty isn't necessarily our career, as important as that is, or the kind of car we drive or whatever. It's things like the folks next to you, the people that love you, your family, and you're obviously a very happy family man, and that's life's true blessings. That's the thing that makes you remembered, because, you know, 100 years from now, we're all going to be forgotten except for our family.
Yes.
And you have a wonderful legacy there. I can just tell from the folks there, it's touching just how much they love you and admire you. You have a lot of love there, and we feel it up here, and they feel it back there. So
Yes,
thank you, sir, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Kelvin, you know me, I gotta find out what's behind the scene, how's everything going, and how does Kelvin treat everybody, and so forth and so on. And I heard a rumor, I don't know how true it is, that you have the last words with your wife. Am I correct? And those words are, yes, ma'am.
Yes, that is so true.
So, true to form, you're doing the right thing again.
Yes.
My pleasure, counsel. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you, sir. Have a good day. Thank you. All right, next up, we have items 2 and 3 to be heard together. We have Mr. Scott Drainville, interim CEO of HART, and Mr. Michael English, who's the president of the Tampa Historic Streetcar. Mr. Drainville, if you wish to proceed, we have a presentation up on our screen, if we can bring it up on the main screen. No, they were being heard together. She was coming in. Good morning. All right, go ahead,
All
sir.
right, so good morning, Chair, council members. Again, for the record, Scott Drainville, interim CEO of HART. So this morning, I'm going to give a quick overview of HART's service profile, and I'll do some comparisons between where we were pre-pandemic, where we are today. And then I'm going to ask our service planning director, Justin Williams, to come up and give a little bit about the coordination we're doing with the city of Tampa. So Cummins profile, we're looking at a projected ridership about 12 million, and that was pretty much where we were pre-pandemic. Average weekday ridership right around just under 38,000. So when you look at our fleet, we have 132 buses, about 83 paratransit vans, and we have 9 streetcars, over 2,000 bus stops, and about 35 routes. So here with the service level comparison, you'll see where we were at March 2020 pre-pandemic to where we are today. Our peak vehicle was about 132. We're down to 101, carrying about the same amount of passengers that we were there pre-pandemic. So we're about just under 76% of where we were pre-pandemic. To get to where we were pre-pandemic, it would be cost annually between another 18 or $22 million to get us actually to where we were 2019, 2020. Then you can see the frequency differences. A lot of the 15 minutes went to 20, 20 went to 30, and 30 went to 60. So this is a map. I'd like to direct your attention to the legend. You see in blue, a lot of that blue was all the call routes going through the city, and that was with a 30-minute frequency. Today, the profile today, you'll see a lot of purple. The purple is a 60-minute frequency. So ridership, pre-COVID, we were just under 49,000 in the weekday. Current ridership is just under 36, and projected for 2024 is just under 38,000. Looking at our budget for operating, we're about $108,688,780. That's $6 million from the previous year, not cutting any service. And our capital budget is $50,460,986 for a combined budget of $159,149,766. And then I will ask Mr. Willis to come up to give a little bit about some collaborative efforts we're working with the City of Tampa.
Morning, Council and Chair. Justin Willis, Director of Planning at HART. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about some of the ongoing efforts we have with the city's mobility department and various departments. Starting with the map you see on your left there is the Tampa Arterial BRT project. Some of those dedicated sections you see in red are consistent with some of the projects FDOT has. The southern portion, you probably are familiar with the Heights Mobility Study. That was awarded a federal RAISE grant. We're working to try to coordinate and get some transit facilities built as part of that project. The Fowler project in the north is another DOT project that's recently picked a preferred alternative. And then that red segment in the middle is an unfunded section of that facility, but is identified by the City of Tampa's Vision Zero action plan as a high injury network corridor, and also by the TPO, so there's probably some federal funding we can go after for that portion as well. We've recently submitted a station grant under the Reconnecting Communities program, which is what funded the Ashley Drive project that the city has. There's a subset of that grant that is called the Neighborhood Access and Equity that looks at enhancing facilities that were divided by facilities like 275, and that's why we put that project forward. We asked for $45 million for those stations to be associated with the BRT project. And if we were awarded that, it would probably be the highest transit project ever awarded in Hillsborough County, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. So there'll be more to report. Hopefully by March we'll know whether we get that grant. If we don't get that grant, one of our backup plans for funding those stations is potentially exploring CRA funding downtown and various other funding sources. So I'll be back here one way or the other to either tell you about how happy we are we got the grant, or to ask you for potential funding for stations because we did not get it. The lane repurposing is part of the project to advance the BRT. We're basically asking FDOT to take one of the 3 lanes off of the southern section, one of the 4 lanes off of Fowler as it is identified in the long-range transportation plan, and then one of the lanes off of that segment unfunded from Waters to Linebaugh. And that's how we're going to deliver a corridor that has over 60% dedicated lane, which means that we are basically congestion proof on most of the corridor, and we can operate a better service at less cost to us. And that's how we can make that service work with our existing kind of underfunded ad valorem budget that we have to work with. So this capital money can actually save us money in the long term, and I'll go ahead and move along. There's TOD studies that you've heard of, mostly associated with Tampa Heights. There is a round 2 of that funding that we're working with the city and the TPO and the Planning Commission to try to explore where that money would go for further station area planning. Right now, we're looking north of the river to advance some things because Fowler's already underway. The streetcar collaboration, we've had conversations with the mobility department as recently as yesterday about advancing that project, what it might look like. I know there's some renewed interest on your council. I've heard in my ear several times. We're excited to advance that project if we can identify a local funding source. Some of the other collaboration is with Gasworks Development, adding a new station with their Phase 2 construction that's about to start. We heard a little bit about that night at an event. And then, of course, DOT has announced their $700,000 to keep fares free and keep the service frequent. For this fiscal year, we're going to need to identify a local funding source to maintain that level of service and fare free for next year. So that'll be a conversation we have with the city staff and leadership moving forward. And I will go to the next slide. So some of the efforts that involve both the city and the downtown partnership, the Marion Transitway visioning and operational improvements. Where we had a meeting yesterday with the downtown partnership. We're trying to collaborate with the Urban Land Institute on some of their ideas. We've got high aspirations for activating that corridor beyond just what it has been for 30 years. Part of the visioning process is going to look at the southern end of the corridor was always supposed to be another transit center at the southern end, so it was supposed to be more like a barbell. That never came to fruition. That was 30 years ago those plans were drawn up, and that's part of why the Transitway has never reached its full potential. That and some development issues, but we're really hoping to reignite that coordination effort, identify some places in further south downtown for our buses to serve more effectively, to make transit an even better option for people coming downtown. We know the city has made progress on raising parking fees to match the private sector. That's a really important thing for getting people incentivized to use transit. Just as an example, when I moved here 10 years ago, it was cheaper to park downtown all day in certain places, actually Water Street surface lots, than it was to pay for a bus pass. So that's kind of a reason why the bus is not seen as a real great alternative, even when we have most of our good service is serving downtown. So those are those two items. The transit and bus emphasis corridors is a collaborative effort between the city and the TPO to look at which corridors we should really prioritize for transit, where there's a lot of redevelopment potential, and then what kind of potential assessments the city could do on those corridors to help enhance and beef up operations to provide a 15 to 20 minute level of service. So that's something we're exploring as part of the long-range transportation plan, and you'll probably hear more about in the future. And then I'm going to hand it over to Brian Allen to talk about the streetcar project, or the annual streetcar update. And I have an updated slide 13 for his presentation that I can hand to you all here. It just has our final numbers for ridership.
Thank you. Yes, sir, go ahead, please state your name.
Good morning, Brian Allen. I'm the Director of Streetcar Operations for HART.
All right, there we go.
All right. Some of our highlights from 2023 was the record ridership, as Justin said. Almost a year ago today was the 20th anniversary of the opening of the system. We celebrated that at Dick Greco Plaza. You'll probably see there's been signage on all the cars this year. Just make note of that. This was the last year for the FDOT, the second FDOT grant for fare-free enhanced service. We had a good budget year. We ended under budget. Streetcar Live came back, which we do as part of a collaboration with the Gasparilla Music Festival. And we had great media coverage thanks to free fares and a couple other things that were going on. Okay, this is an old slide. Justin gave you the good slide. We had record ridership. Our ridership for this year was 1,315,103, which was the best year in the history of the system. The best month, which was also a record for us, was March of this year with 127,863 riders. Followed closely by April, by the way. Here are some scenes from the 20th anniversary. You can see some of the signage that's now on the cars. We had a great event. Something we did back in March, because demand was becoming great, is that we added a fifth car to provide 12-minute service on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays between 1 and 9 p.m. So that's one of the things that's really helped drive our ridership this year. And that was in direct response to the demand we were seeing out on the line, where we were leaving people at stations and everything. So this has been very good for us. It's really helped us move people. Here's the budget for this year and last year in comparison. As you can see, the top is our revenues, the bottom is our expenses. You'll see the biggest expenses we have, obviously, is the CSX insurance and labor. Also, I want to note that we have to present a balanced budget every year, so that's one of the constraints we have, and managing inflation, always a challenge for us. Once again, Streetcar Live, which we do on the fourth Friday of the month. We had some great bands. This is an event that's actually had its own cult following out there where people come back repeatedly for it. Fun event we do. Justin touched on the future extension project. And here's just some of the examples of the media coverage we got this year. It was a great year. I'm glad it highlighted a lot of our motormen out there, gave them an opportunity to be seen because really they're the backbone of what we're doing out there. So, and that's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions for me?
Do you have Mr. English? Would he like to say anything as president of the streetcar board, or is that everything? And thank you for running a great meeting yesterday. I serve on the board with you, so.
Thank you.
Good job. Yes, sir.
Well, you have the A-team here.
Your
These
name, you have to
guys-
say your name.
I'm sorry?
Say your name.
Michael English. I am the chairman of the streetcar board, and you have the A-team. You know, it's a lot of hard work to run a streetcar system, to run a transit system, and I'm really, really proud of how they do it day in and day out. Carrying 1.3 million people is astounding to me, and it should be astounding to you, but it's also hopeful because it's really a look into the future. So I'm really proud to be here with these gentlemen this morning, and I'm honored to be a part of the streetcar board, and I want to thank you all very much for your unending support. We really appreciate it.
Thank you
If
very
you have
much.
any questions of me.
Councilman Carlson, I saw your hand first. Councilman Clendenin.
Would you all mind, since the public didn't see the revised chart on ridership, would you all mind just sticking that on the overhead so the folks can
Sure.
see? I think the revised chart gives a better impression of. And one other quick question, the idea a few years ago was to change to a faster car, but I know a lot of people like the old style design of the ones that are there. Is there still a plan to change the cars on the streetcar?
You know, I think that's up in the air, but why don't you go ahead and answer that question?
Yeah, I think that that's still a question to be answered. There's a lot of still planning to design work that needs to happen. And I think that's one of the updates I got from Brandon yesterday is that he had a conversation with the FTA. So we have to talk about that and maybe refine the project and the definition of the project. And there's a whole process through that involves NEPA. So that's kind of to be determined, but I know that there's renewed interest in just doing the heritage extension, but there may be some going back and redoing some of the previous work that was done to recalculate the ridership without the modernization.
Last question, since you're up there. We had been told by some people in the community that Marion Street might be abandoned by heart and would turn into a pedestrian mall, but you're saying that it's going to continue to be a transit corridor, right?
We're open to a lot of ideas, so we're just starting to get into that process with the downtown partnership. The previous leadership at Hart was much more open to abandoning the corridor, but if we are to put streetcar and or BRT on Florida Avenue and Tampa Street, the viability of Marion becomes much more again, so we would want to put some of our bus service back on that corridor. We're just more open to activating it with public art, vendors, and getting more going on there than just transit to make it a more beneficial place.
Yeah, my preference would be to keep it as a transit corridor. I don't think it will work as a pedestrian corridor. If Franklin Street doesn't work, then I don't see how a second one will work.
right.
But we can talk about that offline. Thank you very much.
Councilman Clendenin, then Councilman Vier.
Yes, so two things. One, yeah, it's no secret. I've been beating the drum of expansion of the streetcar system since I can remember, and I appreciate all of y'all's support. I had a meeting with the mayor yesterday about the same issue, and so I look forward that I think all the indicators are pointing in the right direction now that hopefully we'll all start moving in the same direction and be able to get this done. Look forward to taking advantage of the matching funds that are available with state and federal and coming up with what we need to do. And I think the grant that the city has been pursuing, I think the city's done a good job with grant access and acquisition, and I think we took a good step this week with the announcement that we made and being able to put together that. On the change between the historic and the modernization process, there's several problems with one. The modernization process would make the thing exponentially more expensive to expand. and we have a capacity issue with storage of streetcars versus the size of the historic streetcars versus if we expanded a modernized system. So that would add to cost, problematic, and also acquisition as far as domestically manufactured stuff versus internationally manufactured. So that becomes problematic and makes it a lot more expensive, and rather than sticking with the historic streetcar system. It was from the information that I've been able to acquire and the many people that we've been meeting with about this. On the Marion Street issue, I've been a big advocate of repurposing that, and I think part of what, I look at that as not necessarily a pedestrian corridor, but a mixed modal corridor. So not necessarily like, I never want to repeat the failure of Franklin Street, but having it, turn into much more of a north-south mixed transportation corridor that not just restricted to buses, that be open to everybody and every types of transit, but turn it into that vendor access, art space, having a real kind of like a green mixed modal system north south through the downtown corridor. I think that was, at least in some of the conversations that I've had, that I think was kind of exciting. But I appreciate y'all's support, and I appreciate working with the future and working with you all to ensure that we expand, the streetcar to have an urban transportation spine through the city of Tampa that we can connect to the suburban type of transportation that we're looking forward to, like the BRT that you're looking at, to be able to open up these transportation corridors that this council is continuing to double down on our land use policies of building density around these transportation corridors, and HART is definitely a key player in the future planning for the city of Tampa. Thank you.
Councilman Vieira, Councilwoman Hurtak, Councilman Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to obviously thank you all for coming. It's the streetcar, obviously a very, very important issue, and all of us on Tampa City Council support it, and Councilman Clendenin has spoken a lot on it, and we and done a lot of work on it. We appreciate that. I want to focus also on the organizational issues with HART, because HART, there has been a lot of negative press for HART over the last 10, 20 years. No, I'm joking. No, but for some time, there's been some negative press and whatnot, and with some organizational and leadership issues, and with everyone up there, including Mr. Scott Drainville, y'all are just doing a wonderful job in terms of winning back the trust of the community. In 2018, we voted on a penny sales tax that passed with almost 60% of the vote in Hillsborough County, where voters said, please raise my taxes, right, for more transportation options, with a significant amount of that going to HART. People want to support HART. But to do that, we need to win their trust whenever it comes to transparency issues, and you all have just done a great job. Mr. Drainville, again, I always compliment him and our board, everybody on the board, Republicans and Democrats, and everybody always compliments him for just a great job that he's doing in bringing stability to HART and whatnot. That's something that's so important, and we have to fight for HART. Here in the state of Florida, obviously there was a proposal for a study on HART that included a number of options, including eventually looking at potentially, among other options, the dissolution of HART. We as a board and myself and others addressed that with a lot of our friends in Tallahassee. And the good thing I like about HART's relationship, as far as I see it as the chair of the HART board, is that we have a very bipartisan board. We have a lot of Republicans on the board from the county commission. We have Democrats on the board from the county commission, city council, et cetera. And I think that on those core issues, we're very, very united in terms of the preservation of HART. We have a very good working relationship with our friends in Tallahassee. I believe people like State Senator Danny Burgess, people like State Representative Lawrence McClure, with whom we've had a good collaborative relationship on, as I say, stressing the mission of HART, stressing the amazing working men and women who make HART work, our mechanics, our operators. Mr. Drainville is a former mechanic himself elsewhere, I believe in Rhode Island, where he's from, and the people that HART serves. That's something that's so very important, and we get some good reception of that, I think, in Tallahassee. And we're also so lucky to have federal partners in HART. We have Congresswoman Kathy Castor, who is just a constant champion for years for HART, such an amazing champion. And we recently had Laurel Lee, former Secretary of State and judge, who's now a Congresswoman, and I know she's also going to be a champion for HART. So I see this as a very, very bipartisan issue. And we have a lot of great things coming out for HART. On the 24th, we have our press conference on our All Abilities HART initiative to highlight some of the improvements we're making for people with disabilities, autism. We have some people here to talk today about Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and we have a lot of work in that regard. The main issue is to highlight the people that HART serves. If you support the veterans who get their rides on HART buses to go to their VA appointments, if you support those working families that come home from Wendy's or Walmart or Target, wherever it may be, using the HART bus, or people with intellectual disabilities, you support the mission of HART. The people that HART serves is who gets helped when you support HART. But to get support for HART, we need to have better transparency, and you all up there are doing a great job in that. So my hat's off to you guys. We appreciate your hard work. Thank you.
Councilwoman Hurtak, Miranda Henderson.
Thank you. I just want to say thank you for the work that you are doing now. I'm hearing more about HART than I've heard in a long time, and the news is positive, and you all are you're coming out and you're going after what we need. And I want to say thank you for that. Our community desperately needs transportation, and we need buses, and we need our bus service to improve. And so I just want to say thank you for constantly talking about how we are going to move people in this community and not cars. And I greatly appreciate that. This new federal grant I'm very excited about, because what it says to me is that we are planning for transportation. I'm excited to learn more about it, but this is a great way that if we can get together and find out where we're going and organize ourselves to get those larger federal dollars to maybe help HART expand. The only thing that I didn't hear a lot about today was expanding the actual bus service. I know that's hard to do with the money we have, but one of the things we need to do for that BRT route is show an increased ridership. So one of those ways, I know right now we have allocated $400,000 for 2 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And what concerns me about that is that it's 2 years. It's not recurring funding. So one of the things I'd love to see our staff work on is reoccurring funding. What does that look like? And where is that money going to go to? One of the things that I wanted to do in the last budget, but was not even possible, is to possibly do fare free in the downtown or even on Route 1 to encourage more bus riders. That might be something we can do in downtown to encourage more people to hop on the bus to get to their destinations. It's now I see it, I don't see it as a suburban system. I see it as an urban system that we should really be encouraging more and more people to use. I try to ride the bus at least once a week, and it's always full of a really unique group of people. You'd be surprised. We're not talking about, I mean, it's a microcosm of the community, and I think we need to expand that. So I want to say thank you so much for that, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how we as a city can help some of these, especially that BRT route, get the ridership gains it needs to help get the federal dollars. That's a huge priority for me. Thank you.
Councilmember Miranda and Councilwoman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Chairman. I'm looking at these figures from the physical year ridership, and in my mind, I try to understand what they mean in today's value of what we are looking at. Compared when I was a young boy in Ybor City, you had the buses and the streetcar, and guess what? They were all full. So I'm trying to imagine why were they full then and they're empty now. There's a lot of things that come through my mind, whether they're factual or not, I really don't know. A, you had more people living in the area where the buses and streetcar were needed. B, economic. People that lived in those areas where I lived, where I grew up at, where I got married and had to go back because the house that I was renting was taken by the expressway, had an economic situation. And so therefore you were opportunity to save money for something else, you rode the streetcar or the bus. However, and these figures, when I see 2018 to 2023, that's 25 years, and I see you had a ridership of 302,000, let's say 303,000, versus now 1,315,102. Well, that's a disparity. It looks a lot different. But reality is, we don't know what we had in downtown, at least by this. How many people lived in downtown in 2018? How many people worked downtown in 2018? What was the population? when the streetcar was put up, it was difficult. I was here. Because of what? We put the streetcar in essence to bring people in to experience and bring them into downtown, make downtown flourish in a way. That was the main cause of it. We didn't have the ridership. The numbers were not there.
True.
As you well know, we went through HEW hockey sticks. You got that one?
Yep.
So that we don't have to do what we're doing again. And the problem we have with ridership today, and I agree with everything the council members have said, is A, the population is much more dispersed than needed. B, the cost then versus the cost now. C, nobody wants, if you go to a restaurant to eat and you're the only one eating there, no matter how good the food tastes, your eyes tell you, what am I doing here? Because you want to see obvious, you want to see the people doing the same thing you're doing. It's the same thing I'm using with the bus system and the streetcar system. You must have riderships, or others says, I wonder why they're riding this animal, not me. And council members have heard me say many times, at the bottom of these steps, we used to have our own bus system called Tampa Transit. And there was a gentleman who ran it, I think his name Harry Orr. And Harry Orr told me one day at the bottom of the step, the day this goes federal, you'll never have a bus system that works. I hate to say that, but that's what he told me. I didn't say it, he did. So everything that I've learned about this here, it's very difficult to do what you gentlemen are doing, and all ladies all involved with you. It's it's not an easy task. It's 10 times harder than seeking public office, okay? Because you have a mountain of animals that for whatever reason are not going to ride the bus. Where before, you had an audience that was going to ride the bus because that's the only thing they had. Listen, in those days you didn't have cars that were air conditioned. You had a heater that cost $39 that the only thing would heat was the passenger side. You didn't have the cars that have the amenities that they have now. So you're competing against the automobile, the mindset. You have to change the mindset of the public before they ride the streetcar. You got to make it so that they say, I want to go to the streetcar. It's got to be run on a certain system, on a certain date, on a certain time from point A to point B. If not, they're not going to ride. And that's my opinion, and I'm not a streetcar expert, but I rode the streetcar and I rode the bus system for a long, long time because it was the only way that I could afford to get from point A to point B. So that's just my explanation of what I think. That's what I think you guys have to do, and ladies that work with you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Henderson.
Yes, good morning. Thank you, Chair. I just want to speak quickly on the the future plans of Marion Street. I don't think it's necessarily the case where we should dismiss the opportunity for it to be more pedestrian friendly and bring about the artwork as well as an opportunity for small businesses. I know that some of the bus stops the plans are to, make them more appealing and put maybe some micro businesses in them. I see that as an opportunity. I know Franklin Street has not created that vibe that was planned for it being pedestrian friendly. But this is another opportunity for small businesses and maybe to create something that can be special and feature local businesses in that way, in that area. So don't be so dismissive of that. I think that's an opportunity in conjunction with the downtown partnership. That's it. Thank you, Chair.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that that's our plan for Marion, is to do a lot of things better, including transit, art, and activation, so that it's not just a transit corridor, but it serves all of downtown and the community in a much better way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Before we go to the next item, I'd like to welcome Gabriela Valero. She's a freshman at USF studying political science and is a USF Latino Scholarship Program recipient. She is sitting right behind Brandon. If you want to stand up, welcome, welcome. All right. Yes, sir, Councilman Beal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my great pleasure to have up here Miss Desiree Cole, who's here with her grandmother Beverly. If you want to come up, you may, if you wish. You sure? Okay, there you go. I get it. October 22nd of this year, council is International World Stuttering Day, where we talk about individuals who have different challenges with stuttering. Stuttering is a communication disorder in which repetitions or abnormal stoppages of sound and syllables break the flow of speech. There's a lot of very famous individuals who have had challenges with stuttering, including but not limited to Mark Anthony, James Earl Jones, Harvey Keitel, Elvis Presley, actor Jimmy Stewart, Winston Churchill, and the President of the United States, Joe Biden, who obviously had many challenges stuttering. And if I recall, in the book of Exodus, Moses had problems with stuttering as well. We have here my good friend, Ms. Desiree Cole, who's going to talk about International Stuttering Day and what it means to her. Desiree, I had the great opportunity of meeting this wonderful young woman at the Penguin Project, an organization that helps individuals with different challenges take part in plays. And she was it Aladdin or Beauty and the Beast?
Beauty and
Mary Poppins.
And Mary.
Okay, all of them. So I will let this nice young woman speak about what this day means to her. Go ahead, ma'am.
Hello, I'm Desiree. I'm a performer, and I hope to be a voiceover artist to inspire others who stutter like me, because I don't see anybody like me, and I like cartoons. I hope that I can inspire people, and because acting is important to me, because I can be any other character, and I can sing, because stuttering helps with the brain. It's a hard, because it is a neurological disorder, and there are more than 70 million people who stutter, and in England it's called stammer, and that's really cool. And I hope that other people who stutter has opportunities like me in the future. And yeah.
Okay, let's give this nice woman a round of applause. So, Desiree, before we go to council, you had told me that if you could meet, and I'm coming out on a limb here, if you could meet any person in the world, who would it be? You had told me a certain president?
President Joe Biden.
So she said that it's her dream. I'm going to put it out there. If the office of Kathy Cash or anybody is watching, that it is this nice young woman's dream to meet President Biden. And so maybe you will or you won't, but I did get you the next best thing, which is a Joe Biden bobblehead. So there you go. So that's for you. Maybe you'll meet him, maybe you won't.
Thank you.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you.
All right.
Oh, and if any, or, okay. Oh.
Councilmember Carlson.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for your bravery, your courage, and your interest in the arts. I hope you go far and are very successful. I just have to tell a quick story. Before I was born, my grandparents had a electrical contracting store that also sold appliances, and they had a salesperson / electrical repair guy who was working for them, and he was a really robust stutterer, but he would sing on the side, and he was a pretty good singer, and eventually he got tired of doing what he was doing at my grandparents' store, and he became a professional musician. You probably never heard of him, but his name was Mel Tillis.
Yes, I know.
And he was a very famous, he became a very famous worldwide sensation in music. And so it just shows that, you really can be whatever you want to be. And I encourage you, hopefully we'll see you on Broadway one day.
Thank you.
And I just want to say also congratulations. I mean, it was very brave to come up here. My mother is a stutterer, so I have grown up knowing, and there were a lot of things she couldn't do. She really wanted to be a teacher, and they said, no, you can't be a teacher because you're a stutterer. And so I just think it's awesome now that we're really encouraging everyone to be whatever they want to be. And I think you're going to go far, and I think you are going to end up being that performer and that singer. You're already doing it now. And so I just want to say thank you, because there are so many others who've had the dream and haven't been able to accomplish what they've wanted to accomplish. And so I think it's wonderful that you're getting out there and sharing it with everyone, so that everyone, not just you, but everyone who stutters can have more opportunities. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, so stammer may be cool in England, but I think you're the coolest here. So thank you for being here today. And I think you're really, honestly, just you're here today as a proof that we're only as limited by our dreams in this country, and you can do anything that you want to do. And we have a president of the United States as an example to follow. So thank you so much for presenting today, and I really was appreciative to be able to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Desiree Cole.
Hi.
Thank you for coming to City Council today. I'm so proud of you. You know that Brown Girl Magic is real, and so you are doing that in front of all of these amazing people that are witnessing you shine your light on the City of Tampa and on International Stuttering Day. So keep shining. Don't let anyone tell you no. Don't take no for an answer. If you are an artist, you've already claimed it, and we celebrate you for that. So congratulations.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Desiree, for what you're doing, what you have done, and never take anything negative, turn it to a positive. You've done that all your life, and I'm so proud to be able to say that I know that I met Desiree. And I want to thank Councilman Vieira for also bringing this thing to the forefront. But the problem we have in society is just you look left and you look right and you keep going straight. But left and right, there's another human being that hasn't been recognized. And the hardships that most of us travel are different, but they're really all the same, because a hardship is a hardship. And you conquered that hardship already. So you're already past A, and you're going to go, and you're going home to like you're playing a checker game. Life is what it is. And you have done an exceptional item by being yourself and telling the world, this is me and I'm happy. And I tell the people, I may be bald, but I got a lot of hair. But really, what I should say, I had a lot of hair, but I don't say that. So what I'm saying is, thank you for who you are, and thank you for what you're doing to make this world that we live in a little bit better than it was yesterday. And this world needs a lot more bettering than what you've given it. This world is not going in the right direction. But thank you for who you are, and thank you for what you have done and continue to do to make this world better. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
All right, and thank you so much.
I want to say something else? And she wants to say one last thing that she made. Go ahead, sweetie.
So who also stutters is Marilyn Benborough also has a stutter, and I hope to be like her, and I hope I can voice a character on like TV and radio.
Well,
That's it.
We're all very proud of you, and I know you're going to achieve these goals and dreams. We believe in you, and thank you, Councilman Vieira, for bringing Desiree here. Thank you to your grandmother for coming. You see, people like you brighten our days, and you make the world a better place. So I wish you all the best of luck. I know you're going to achieve these goals and dreams, so just keep on keeping on, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good job, sweetie. Real proud.
Right now? All right. We need to take a 5-minute recess. The CTTV that manages the feed online and on TV is having some technical difficulties, so we're just going to take a 5-minute recess.
morning, everybody. Thank you for your patience while we took a break. We're going to start the meeting, and roll call, please.
Carlson, Hurtak. Here. Clendenin.
Here.
Henderson.
Present.
Vieira.
Here.
Miranda. And Maniscalco.
Okay, we have a quorum. Mr. Vieira.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my great pleasure to have some really wonderful, special people with us here today. October is Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and so I wanted to invite some families raising children with Down syndrome here to talk about their experience. We have here Miss Ashley Odom and her wonderful husband Brock and their wonderful son Brody, who is a very special little guy, and he is out of control, adorable this guy is. We have here Mark and Becca and their son Cooper, who's here, their daughter Lindy, and their other son Caden, who's here. And I've invited these wonderful people to talk about Down syndrome awareness and what it means to them. So go ahead.
Thank you so much. Good morning, esteemed members of the City Council. My name is Ashley Odom, and I'm just a quick background about myself. I'm the vice president of a local Down syndrome with special needs nonprofit organization here in the Bay Area called Friends. And we have our huge buddy walk coming October 21st, this Saturday at Al Lopez Park from 10 to 2. I have some flyers for you guys so you can look at it, and I put one up here on the projection too if anybody wants to take a look. But I just want to tell you what Down Syndrome Awareness Month means to us and our family and our community. I stand before you today to share my personal journey as a mother. Upon receiving information during my pregnancy that my son Brody has Down syndrome, it completely transformed my world. Initially, I found myself in a state of grief, mourning the child I had envisioned and always dreamed of. However, I now realize that I was mistaken to feel this way. Brody is everything I have ever hoped for and more. He is perfect, a gift from God, intelligent, humorous, resilient, and possesses an unconditional love that knows no bounds. Down syndrome may be a part of his life, but it does not diminish his worth or his potential. As I contemplated my son's future, I began to grasp the unfortunate reality that our society is not always designed to meet the needs of individuals with disabilities. Let his unique abilities shine forth, and let the world see that Down syndrome is just one aspect of who he is, not the entirety. It is our duty as agents of change to reshape society's perception of people with disabilities. Each and every life is valuable, regardless of abilities or differences. They possess limitless potential, are deserving of respect and opportunities, and share similar aspirations and dreams of making meaningful contributions to our community. I am grateful for this opportunity to raise awareness and advocate for the inclusion of the Down syndrome community. On October 2nd, Rebecca and all of us up here had the honor of participating in the inaugural Down syndrome awareness flag raising ceremony here at Old City Hall. That was amazing, by the way. And on behalf of my family and the entire Down syndrome community, I want to express our deepest gratitude. Your support demonstrated that barriers can indeed be overcome, and it means the world to us. Let us continue to unite in our efforts to create a city that welcomes and embraces individuals with disabilities, empowering them to lead a fulfilling life and contribute to the betterment of our society. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. And now Ms. Becca wants to say a few words.
With the coop.
Yep, with Mr. Cooper.
Yes. Good morning. My name is Rebecca Rocco. I'm a wife, a critical care nurse, and a mom to 3 perfect children. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me to share why Down Syndrome Awareness Month is so important to me and my family, and why it should be important to you too. On July 5th, 2021, at just 28 weeks into my pregnancy, my husband, Mark, my daughter, Lindy, and I welcomed fraternal twin boys into our family. Baby B, or Cooper, was born with a 3rd copy of the 21st chromosome, an extra chromosome also known as trisomy 21 or Down syndrome. At the time of his diagnosis, I sobbed into my hands, not yet realizing the blessing this child would be to both our family and to everyone who will ever know him. This perceived despair on my part was due to my fear of the stigmatization This perceived despair on my part was due to my fear of the stigmatization which commonly accompanies the diagnosis of Down syndrome. At the time, I felt my family would be terminally overburdened to the point where we would have no future. No future simply because of an extra single microscopic entity, the most common chromosomal anomaly in humans, trisomy 21 Down syndrome. I truly believe every time a baby is born with Down syndrome, instead of quietly murmuring and giving condolences, we should say congratulations, like Debbie, one of our neonatal intensive care nurses at St. Joseph Women's Hospital did. Debbie, whose son Sean also has Down syndrome, excitedly told me of all the amazing blessings my Cooper would bring to my life and how much light and joy he would bring to our family. Just you wait and see, Debbie would tell me, and boy, was she right. Cooper has an extra chromosome. That is only a small part of him. This does not define him. There is a whole lot more to Cooper than just an aberrant genetic trait. His love for dancing makes this abundantly clear. My son Cooper's life is just as special and his worth just as much as any other child. Because he has a developmental challenge is not a reason he should be hidden away out of sight. Cooper deserves the same opportunities and the same human rights as others. Down Syndrome Awareness Month is an opportunity to put action to these sentiments. We want to do our part to help remove the stigma surrounding Down syndrome, as well as update a sometimes archaic public opinion as to what Down syndrome is and what to expect from people who have it. Being afforded this platform, for which I am so grateful, is a big step toward accomplishing our objectives. As we continue our celebration of Down Syndrome Awareness Month, one of my objectives is to make known to all that our world is a better and brighter place because of blessings like Sean, like Brody, and like Mike Cooper. Thank you again, Council, for giving me this unique opportunity to share my heart with you. It is truly an honor.
Councilmember Condon.
I just have to fight the urge to go grab one of those kids and come up here and have them sit on my lap and play with them. They're so cute. They are so adorable. Thank you so much. You know, it's just, you know, we talk about Tampa is such an amazing, inclusive city, and we're so blessed to have your family as part of our community. Thank you for coming here and bringing awareness of Down syndrome and what it means to your family. And man, what a bunch of cute kids. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I have to say, been here for a while. I've never seen so many smiles in the audience. So you're right. Actually, what you were talking about is true. I mean, your kids are special. And you know, I just want to say thank you for bringing forth this to all of us. And I look forward to learning more about the walk, and thank you for coming forward and doing this. It's wonderful because, again, more smiles than we normally see at a city council meeting. So,
Councilmember Miranda, Councilmember Wilson.
Again, thank you with my other council members. It's an amazing journey that you all have taken and very rewarding at the end. And I want to thank you as parents doing what you're doing. And everything in life happens with the parents. And you make it happen, and you're happy to make everything perfect for the world. It's not. Look what's going on right now in Israel and Pakistan. Look what's going on in Ukraine and Russia. We're assassinating ourselves and extincting ourselves by not paying it to the environment. The environment, and as far as the world is, the most important thing, and you never hear anyone talk about it. But thanks again who you are. God bless you, and you make us feel very happy.
Thank you.
Councilmember Carlson, Councilwoman Henderson.
Thank you for bringing your families in. Thank you for the inspiring words to get everybody involved, and hopefully lots of other families are watching and will be inspired about the gifts that they're getting. Also, I just have to say, my kids. Oh no, my kids are. Hopefully, you can hear outside, but my kids are now teenagers, and I sit up here and miss the days that my kid would make a lot of noise in a crowd like this. So it's a great sound, and it's welcome because, you know, it's part of humanity and families, and we all were there at some point. And, you know, thank you for bringing them here.
Thank you.
Charlie, you chased two of them off.
We're lucky we still have an audience at my school.
Thank you so much for coming today. I am looking at the screen. I love the link
I have
where it
one for
says
y'all.
Brody Homie with the extra
that's his
chromie.
team
So
name.
I know that's really creative. I appreciate that. I actually hit the scan me, and I classified myself as a friend for my donation.
Hey, there you go.
This is you shedding light on Brody Cooper. I love the name Coop. That's cute. That's really cute. There's a TV show that somebody has that name. That's really a good one. But I just love how you're standing up and fighting for your family. They are important to our society, and you bringing awareness before City Council and the public is really an important aspect to that. And I just wish your families well. Good luck on the Buddy Walk team. I am so excited, and I hope that those members in the audience, as well as the listening public, will donate to your campaign as well, because we do need the funds to continue the work to improve the quality of life for our ordinary citizens. They're just a part of our society, just like everyone else.
So I can scan this right now and donate?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
yeah.
you can. It works. It sure does. And you can get friend.
And I have a copy for you guys, physical too. But anybody can come out to the walk. Come on out and have some fun. It's going to be a beautiful day.
Thanks.
So it'll be a huge turnout.
Thank you so much for coming today, and Councilman Vieira for bringing these great folks.
Absolutely.
You know, we appreciate it very, very much. So, Councilman Miranda?
No, I want to say, here's the thing, that I have a cell phone, but I leave it in the office. That's just my style. Even if I had the cell phone here, I don't know how to do it.
That's
So I have to
okay.
admit to
That's
that.
okay.
And so I will be making a contribution
Thank
through the
you.
mail.
Thank you.
very
We
much.
appreciate it so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
that's cool. Yeah. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have item number 6, to Ms. Shirley Fox Knowles, our clerk, will be presenting. Thank you.
Good morning, Council. Shirley Fox Knowles, City Clerk. I'm here to present individuals for the Civil Service Board, number 6, Taryn Barbers Creamer, if she's
Is she in the audience? No?
and Corey Person.
Do we have Corey
They're
Person
seeking
here?
appointment.
Okay.
We have 2 vacancies, and
And is either person present to present?
no, they were notified, but
Okay. All right, will you be handing out ballots at this time?
that's on the next one.
Okay.
Do you want to
Oh, 2
appoint?
vacancies, 2 positions, okay. Is there any discussion from council? Do we have a motion to accept
So moved.
both?
Second.
All right. Motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. Yes, sir?
And if you could include that, just to direct me to bring back a resolution on that.
All right, and that would include Councilmember, Mr. Shelby to bring back a resolution for ratification or approval at a later date. So we have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you very much. All right, item number 7. Yes, ma'am.
Council, Shirley Fox Knowles, City Clerk. I want to present individuals seeking appointment to the Hillsborough City County Planning Commission. We have Mr. Joseph Citro. He would like to present.
All right. Do we just have one applicant and one position?
No, we have 3 applicants.
Okay, all right.
And 2 positions.
Thank you, Ms. Shirley Fox Knoll.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Chairman, council members, Joseph Citro for the record, 4015 Bay Shore Boulevard, 33611. This planning commission plans for the future of all of the county, from the rapidly growing South County to the farmlands of Plant City to our suburbs of New Tampa, and especially our downtown core. My heart will always be with the city of Tampa. With the rapid growth of our city, planning is essential. And as we heard from Hart today, the thing that we all have in common is transportation needs. Until we can get that 25% funding to meet the matching funds, transportation is going to be a major issue. We also have a crossroads and conundrums about how this city wants to grow. We have several parts of this city in the coastal high hazards that do not want any more development. We also have parts, such as Palmetto Beach, that embrace the development.
They want to be the new Armature Works. They want to be the new Hyde Park. With my institutional learning from this council and also from Livable Roadways and our MPO, I would be a perfect fit for this commission, and I ask you, the council members, to please appoint me to the Planning Commission. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much. Who is the next applicant?
Council, the next applicant is Elisa Seiben. She can't make it, but she did send
right
you
behind
all.
you. She's right behind you.
She's here? Oh, come on.
All right, yes, ma'am, please state your name.
Alyssa Sieben. I know it's hard to pronounce. City Council members, thank you for this opportunity to address you today. My name is Alyssa Sieben, and I stand before you as a dedicated and passionate candidate for the City of Tampa Planning Commission seat. It's an honor to be considered for this important role, and I'd like to share with you why I believe I'm the best fit for this position. I was born and raised in the city of Tampa, as was my mother, and my roots in this city run deep. My grandparents moved to Tampa at the age of 18, and they played a role in shaping local residential and commercial real estate in the area. My grandfather was a broker and developer, and although he passed away before he could see my career take shape, his passion for our community fueled my own. I believe that not only the growth of development, but also the preservation of the history of our community begins here with the Planning Commission. I stand before you as a 34-year-old female, and I believe that diversity in age and gender is important for the Planning Commission. Our city is evolving, and we must adapt to the changing needs and expectations of our residents. More and more of my friends and colleagues are in need of affordable housing, and I think creative solutions to this community-wide problem should be at the forefront of our agenda as public servants. I'd like to explain why my education and professional experience have equipped me with the skills and expertise that would help me excel in this role. I earned my Juris Doctorate and bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship from FSU, which provided me with a strong foundation for visionary leadership, culture creation, and strategic planning. In addition, my professional career has provided me with an incredible practical understanding that would provide a very helpful viewpoint for the Commission. I first discovered the Planning Commission and the major part it plays in our community's cultivation upon graduating from law school. I began working for Mark Bentley's office in 2015, where I assisted in land use and rezoning cases, prepared comp plan amendments, and developed a deep appreciation for how much the Planning Commission and their forward-thinking strategy helped shape this city. My development career began at North Star Development, which is a leading provider of affordable housing in Florida. My years there cultivated my skill set in understanding what it takes to establish and develop affordable housing in our community, to appreciate the budget intricacies involved, and to recognize the in-depth requirements and incentives for this type of housing provided by our comprehensive plan. Now, as Senior Vice President at Second Wave Development, I have forged a proven track record of leading diverse teams while overseeing various facets of multifamily and mixed-use development, from conception and design through construction completion. In conclusion, I'm here because I believe that the Planning Commission could use a fresh insight, a younger perspective, and a continued commitment to maintaining the unique character of Tampa while embracing responsible and innovative growth. My deep local roots, genuine intention to practice sustainable growth, comprehensive education, and extensive professional experience make me a strong candidate for this role. As a member of the Commission, I would be committed to continuing the efforts. May I finish?
Yes, go ahead, you have 30 seconds.
Committed to continuing the efforts of the previously established objectives while striving to set innovative and attainable goals for our community's future. I ask for your support. Together, we can ensure that our city's future is as vibrant as its past. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, we have a third applicant?
Yes, we do. Giovanni Gardinas.
Yes, sir, please state your name, go ahead.
Giovanni Cardenas, 3123 Westmoreland Avenue, Tampa, Florida. Good morning, Councilman. I'm going to try to keep this short. I want to start with thanking all of you for my previous appointment to the Planning Commission. The last 4 years have been a great experience. My intention of joining the Planning Commission was to be able to take part in responsible growth of our local community, and I feel like I've done that. I say responsible because we do have various items that consistently come before the Commission, such as building in the coastal high hazard area, preservation of industrial land, and high traffic developments in some neighborhoods that don't have adequate infrastructure. The appointment of the Planning Commissioners for 4 years because the knowledge needed is deep and covers various arrays of understanding. I have taken my appointment very seriously, and I've taken the time to educate myself on these topics. For 3 years, I met on a weekly basis with Tony Garcia, with the former director of Comprehensive Plan Policy and Review, to discuss many topics to develop the proper understanding and functionality of the system overall. Along with that, I also met with staff to go through the applications that were coming before the commission, because every application has an effect or positioning that needs to be understood and how it affects the future land use plan. 2 years ago, we lost commissioners, Green and Doherty, that the loss of the knowledge was apparent on the board. The growth of our local community is constant, and the external entities come to the area is important that we maintain a strong knowledge base. This learning is constant, and over time, my abilities to serve our community has grown and is going into the next chapter. I'm now starting to serve on the Affordable Housing Committee, and the need of our city and county is eye-opening, but I can already see how my construction and business knowledge can assist to achieve our goals to serve those in need in our community, and I hope to continue this and ask to be reappointed to the Planning Commission for the next 4 years.
Thank you
Thank you
very
so
much.
much.
Yes, ma'am, does that conclude?
Yes.
All right, so we
The
vote.
applicants vote for two.
Okay. I'll take them and we'll pass them down to Marty, or whatever, yeah. All right, there's 3 ballots here, okay, there you go. Everybody? Yes, sir.
If I may, Mr. Chair, did we vote on the Civil Service Board?
Yes, it already.
Okay, so Corey and Taryn? Good.
Yes.
Good, great people. Just making sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. After this, a 10-minute recess? Okay. All right. Do you want to take the recess now, and then we'll announce the folks that? Yeah, it's fine, it's quick. We'll do it after this. Go ahead. All right, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. I mean, it doesn't.
The 5 minutes, the chair said it already, let's go. Self-serving. The chair has already decided.
Yeah, we'll tally these votes and then we'll take the recess. We're not in recess, we're just counting these votes and then we'll take the recess.
Okay.
It's not me, man. It's not me.
It's the system. Don't hate the play or hate the game.
That's right.
I know, so can we go to consent agenda?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can we start public comment?
No, it just takes a minute, it's just one ballot.
I could say.
The quartet?
No, we have more people that are
I knew a
downstairs.
Tampa quartet needs to sing.
Yeah.
I think we should sing as
We're gonna wait for the tally of these votes and then we'll take the recess.
I'll do the bass.
Blue moon. Oh, yeah, they're good folks, but they're good, you know, that, yeah. I try to do stuff that I care about. Like I tell people, if I do it, it's because I care. I'm not afraid, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's
And
not just.
yeah, and it's like the same thing, the same 7 or 8 things again and again and again. Because I do what I care about.
Are we? So should we entertain somebody? Should we do some entertainment?
Where are they again?
What is everybody dressing up for? Is Halloween? Huh? Anybody? Halloween? Anybody dressing up?
Mine's a secret. I'll get a good education from the party from Sarah.
This is so good. Right, this is elevate. There are no work training program at schools. It's really good.
All right.
From 8 to 9, in and out. Da-da-da-da.
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Shirley Foxnow, City Clerk. The results of the tally, Citro received 2 votes. Alyssa Sibin received 7 votes, and Cardenas received 5 votes. So Elisa Sibin and Giovanni Cardenas are the 2 individuals selected.
All right, congratulations. We're going to take a 5-minute recess.
So moved. No.
No, motion for what?
Oh,
So
motion,
that
sorry. I have a motion from Councilmember Clendenin. Do we have a second? Second from
What is the
Councilman
motion
Vieira.
for?
This motion is for Mr. Shelby to come back and present a resolution for us to approve the appointees.
And the appointees are
And the appointees are Mr. Cardenas and Alyssa, I see over here.
Seben.
Seben. Seben? Yes. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? All right, we are in recess for 5 minutes. All right, we're back in session and back from recess. Let's have roll call.
Carlson.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Roll call.
Carlson. Here. Hurtak, Clendenin.
Here.
Henderson, Vieira. Here. Miranda. And Maniscalco.
Here.
We have a physical quorum.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Shirley Fox Knowles.
Thank you, Council. Shirley Fox Knowles, City Clerk. I needed to note who voted for whom. For Citro, the individuals that voted for Mr. Citro would be Councilman Miranda and Henderson. Voting for Ms. Seibin was all the council members. And voting for Mr. Cardenas, Carson, Clendenin, Hurtak, Maniscalco, and Vieira. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, at this time, as mentioned at the beginning, yes, we are going to go to number 8, and just so the public knows, we're going to have a hard stop at 12 o'clock and reconvene at 1 o'clock.
Since people are already lining up, do you want to give them a window into when they'll be able to speak?
Yeah, right after we do 8, 9, and 10, we'll go into general public comment. So
And the public comment will continue till what time, Mr.
till
Chairman?
12 o'clock, sir.
And then council will reconvene at what time?
At 1 o'clock, sir.
Is that by unanimous consent?
Is everybody all right with that? I know it's an hour, but we have a very busy agenda.
Thank
Any
you.
objections?
Thank you.
All right, item number 8. No, we have a presentation first. Yes, ma'am.
If I can, Mr. Chairman, just
Yes.
for the purposes of the the Florida statutes, when this is done, you take public comment for the item, if there's anybody who wants to speak about it, and then you can move the item after you take public comments.
Very good.
You can either do it after the grouping of them, or you can take them individually. Your call.
All right, we'll do a grouping, and then we'll do public. Okay, yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Michelle Van Loan, Real Estate. For item number 8, this is the honorary street naming for Mr. Alessi Sr. And I made a full presentation on August 24th on this item. So today is about the Alessi family and Mr. Alessi and recognizing Mr. Alessi. So we do have many of his family here that would like to participate in honoring him. And I believe we may have some council people that will come down. So I'm strictly here for any questions if council has any.
Any specific questions? We're going to go through 8, 9, and 10, and then we'll take public comments.
So ditto for 8, 9, and 10.
8, 9, and 10. All right, is there anybody that wishes to speak on the honorary street naming for Mr. Alessi, Dr. Walter Smith Sr., or Clifford McDonald? Please come up to the lectern. I see the Alessi family here, and would anybody like to speak? I see Mr. Alessi right here. Anything, sir? Yes, sir.
Hi, yes, hi, I'm Jason Alessi. I'm one of Phil Alessi Sr.'s sons. And I'd just like to say on behalf of our family and all of our employees at Alessi Bakery, this is a great honor. Our father will be, my dad will be very, very proud. He was a very passionate man about life in general. He loved his business, loved his family, loved his friends, loved the Tampa Bay area. And through so many years, he was an entrepreneur in both the bakery business and in the boxing business and in so many other ventures. And he's taught me and my brother Philip. We're trying to carry on his legacy at Alessi Bakery, and which has been going now for since 1912. So we just celebrated 111 years in business, and it's because of members of the Tampa Bay area, many generations of people and family members who have been supporting our business and coming to our bakery, which is now on Cypress Street, of course, formerly on Howard Avenue for many, many years. And it's a great honor. Our dad would be very, very proud of this, and we're proud of him and what he taught us about our mottos were quality rules, quality, consistency, and customer service were really the three main keys that he talked about, which has kept Alessi Bakery going. And for myself, for Philip, for our sister Dina, for our late brother Johnny, who have worked at the bakery. We have many family members. I have many nephews and nieces who are looking to carry on the proud tradition of Alessi Bakery. So we thank you so much. This is a wonderful honor.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak? Or Jason, you were the guy, so. All right. Yes, ma'am, I see you coming up.
So, hi, I'm Dina Lessie Bowden, and I get emotional because of my brother, but he's with us. Anyway, my father, what can you not say about him? He taught us all, and wow, what a man. And I'm so blessed to be his daughter. And my husband and I are so blessed to be able to travel now. And I'll tell you, I mostly go out west to Wyoming, and I cannot begin to tell you how many people, even over there, know Alessi. It's so crazy. I can go on and on with stories that just like every time I hear someone say something about the bakery out west, I'm just like, wow, Dad, look what you created. And just thank to my brother and everyone, keep it going. And we're here. So thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Is there anybody else?
Phil Lessie Jr. Couldn't have said it much better than Jason and Dina. I really appreciate the council, Mr. Miranda, appreciate everything you've done, Mr. McElhaney, for making all this happen. It's all about hard work, dedication. And, my dad was a very, very special man, and we all look as a family to continue the tradition to contribute to the city of Tampa, and we really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on the honorary naming for Mr. Alessi? No? I'll just say that it's a Tampa institution for, since 1912. I knew your father. I was able to present him with a commendation several years ago, right there in his office, right there on Cypress. I don't even know where to begin, how impactful Alessi has been to this community. You made my wedding cake a couple years ago. I stop in. Jason's always, I don't know how you do it. You don't stop. The other day I snuck in for, I don't know, what did I have? Rice pudding, or I'll go in for marzipan, or I'll go in for, my mother loves what's called sfogliatelli, which are one of the few people that make them. And she always sends me there. So, again, very special institution. Everybody knows Scacciata. When you talk about people that are not from Tampa, Scacciata, Alessi Bakery, everybody talks about it. So congratulations, and I'll defer to Mr. Miranda.
Thank you. In fact, when you talk about professionalism, what Mr. Alessi just spoke about, I remember one day about 4 or 5, 6 months ago, I went in to buy some Italian candies, and they told me, we don't have any. I said, can I ask you why? I said, yeah. Our baker is in the hospital, and he's the only one from Italy that knows how to do these things. This is a true story. So I told myself, well, I guess I'll be back when everything is fine. And I went back, and the candy and the stuff is delicious. So I'm sure he made it out of the hospital and is back doing what he knows best. But not only the Alessi family here, I see some of the little Cicero family here, I believe, and some of the Pedregal family, if I remember. And this family goes on for that. If they do a tree here, they're related to half the people in the city of Tampa. Because when they were in Howard Avenue, the bakery was downstairs, and where'd y'all live at?
Upstairs.
Upstairs.
Over the sacks.
So what are we doing now? We're making the old stuff that was old then new again. Because that's what we're trying to do now. Have people have the business downstairs and live upstairs. So y'all were pioneering even when you didn't know you were pioneering. But that's how Tampa was then. And hopefully it'll come back. And I want to thank Mr. Michelini for bringing it up. And the family that you have there's no one that doesn't know you anywhere. Because like the other families in other bakeries, they know all the good bakeries. And certainly one of you guys is the best. And you, and they say, who does it tie? Or tied for first. Notice I did that politically. Tied for first. Because I know both families. So all of you, thank you. And I remember sitting with your father at some gatherings at the Pedregal farm years back. And he went through HE double hockey sticks and health-wise, but he never gave up. He kept going no matter what disease he had. He kept doing it because he said, I love it. So God bless him. You got to do in life what you like, and he certainly was one that did what he liked, especially in boxing. He knew every boxer in the world, I think. And he did a lot of promotions for boxing in the area. And the only boxing I did was I was boxing Argus in Citrus County. But he was a great guy, knew how to run a business, and everybody loved your father and your family, the Pedregal and the Little Cicero, because I went to school with both of the Pedregals and Little Cicero. So I don't want to ruin my reputation from where?
Jefferson.
Jefferson. You see that?
Oh, no.
We never went to high school. We went to where?
Jefferson.
Jefferson. Thank you very much for being here and being who you are and making the city of Tampa what it is.
Councilwoman Henderson, Clendenin, Vieira.
I'm trying to hold back the tears. God rest John's soul. He was my classmate, class of 1982. I don't know if he was popular because his last name was Alessi or because he was really cute, at the time. But I just, I'm sorry for the loss of him recently. I know that happened in September. I remember his daughter, Dreama. Is she standing out there, Dreama? Yes, Dreama. He loved you, and he loved you. You were the best thing that happened to him. Congratulations on the street naming. I absolutely love Alessi Bakery. Chicata is, a Jefferson High School staple. That's where all the black kids learned what that was, cold pizza. So it was just the brownies. I mean, Cuban sandwiches. It was just the place to be on Cypress Street. And you're a staple. Your family is so deserving of this honor. And I wish John was here to celebrate it with you all, but God rest his soul.
Councilmember Clendenin, Councilmember Vieira.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anybody in Tampa that doesn't have an Alessi story. All I say is I need you guys before you leave to stop by my car and remove whatever you installed in it. So when I go down Cypress, it automatically turns into that parking lot. Because sometimes, as you can see from my waistband, I don't need all that stuff that I pick up from you guys. And stop that BOGO thing. I can't resist it. I have to go in every single time. Thank you. Thank you for your family and your dad and for what you contribute to the city of Tampa. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Councilman Vieira.
Thank you very much. And yeah, I mean, Alessi's is such a Tampa staple. And I mean, I've been going there. I remember my mom getting me, you can't make this up, I believe it was an Incredible Hulk birthday cake out of there when I was about 5 years ago. No, I'm joking. About like 30 years ago or so. And it's funny, every time I come in there, I always ask for the, what is it, the creme brulee bread pudding, and y'all are always out. I love that stuff. And Alan's right, Councilman Clendenin's right, that every time I go past there, it just leads me there for something, because I have the sweet tooth from hell. So, but thank you guys very much and for all you do. Thank you.
Councilman Carlson.
Just another quick story to add in. I knew your dad in the 80s. My first job while I was at UT and afterwards was working in the sports promotion industry. And so I knew him as a sports promotion guy. He was, big, huge national, international player in that field. But also, we haven't said this yet, he was a titan of business. He was one of the, he was young and like in his prime at that time, and was one of the key business leaders in Tampa, helping to move Tampa forward. So thank you for all your family's done.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and congratulations. I mean, you are absolutely a staple in the community. Everyone knows your name and goes to you for all of the best pastries, and Cuban sandwich is probably one of my favorite in town. Sorry, can't say that publicly, but I will. Y'all. Yeah, those are fighting words, but congratulations, and it's a well-deserved honor.
Councilman Miranda, would you like to read the ordinance?
Yes, please.
Item number 8. Yes, sir.
Moving on from first reading, file number 8-23-84-489. An ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance in the city of Tampa, Florida, approving and placement of an honorary street naming sign at the intersection of West Cypress Street and North Paddock Street. I want to make sure I got the right one.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. In Florida, to honor the Phil Alessi Sr., providing an effective date.
You have a second?
And that with Phil Alessi Sr. goes the whole Alessi family, because they were all fantastic. He had a brother named Nick, who wasn't in the business, but he was a pretty damn good pitcher when he was pitching at another school that I had to face. So I never forget. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Who's the second? Second from Councilmember Clendenin. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Second reading and adoption will be held on November 16th, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I have to just add one more thing.
Yes.
Just you guys keep on going to the bakery and enjoying, because I have that body by Alessi, and so I keep on going too. So I'm like, I continue. Thank you. Enjoy.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you. All right, next up, we will be approving the placement of an honorary street naming sign at the intersection of North Albany Street and West Cypress to honor Dr. Walter Smith Sr. Anything else to add, ma'am?
Michelle Van Loan again. I just want to note, there must be something in the water along Cypress, because every one of these 3 street renamings is going in an intersection along Cypress. Again, in August, I did present about Dr. Walter Smith Sr. I just want to give a shout out to his son, Walter Smith Jr., who you turn on the radio, he's being interviewed, he's always out there. He misses meetings because he's always out going and being in the community and advocating for our youth and for the community. And I look forward to being able to attend a commendation for him one day too also. And again, I can have any questions about this item if you have.
Any questions or comments? No? If not, we'll go to Councilwoman Henderson, if you would mind reading item number 9.
You want to ask?
Wait, I'm sorry. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to speak on item number 9?
Okay, that's fine. You're good.
Yes, ma'am. Councilwoman Henderson, would you like to read item number 9?
Yes, I would like to read this in honor of my president from Florida A&M University from the west side of town. An ordinance in the city of Tampa, Florida, approving the placement of the honorary street naming sign at the intersection of North Albany Street and West Cypress Street in Tampa, Florida, to honor Dr. Walter Smith Sr., providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Henderson, a second from Councilwoman Hurtak. All in favor? Aye. Any
Aye.
opposed? Yes?
I just want to say real fast, we spent a lot of time talking about the Alessis. I want to let everybody know that about a month ago, Walter Smith III was here speaking, and his father, the junior, was here. And we spent a lot of time talking to them about their father and grandfather. So we're not trying to disrespect him today. We spent a lot of time talking about it before. Thank you.
No, Dr. Smith Sr. Is a legend, and his son, as we all know, is a stalwart in the community and a wonderful human being, wonderful family, so it's an honor to present this today. And you need to announce the vote.
Motion carried unanimously with Miranda being absent at vote. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 16th, 2023 at 9 a.m.
Thank you very much. Next up is item number 10 to honor Clifford McDonald of the McDonald Training Center. Correct?
Good
Yes,
morning
ma'am.
one last time, and we do have Ms. Phyllis Gutman from the McDonald Training Center who would like to add a couple of words for this honorary.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, council members. Thank you for the opportunity. McDonald Training Center, MTC, exists because back in 1953, the Tampa community came together to support a loving father and his vision, because he refused to hide his child with disabilities in an institution. Today, Tampa is a better place because J. Clifford McDonald and a group of parents rejected the status quo and wanted more for their children with disabilities. J. Clifford McDonald was a man full of determination and, yes, hope. He understood the purpose and the power of education and employment. He broke down employment barriers, and he elevated the national consciousness for what might be possible. At McDonald Training Center, we continue his big dreams. He was named the recipient of one of the very first Presidential Medal of Freedom Awards in 1963. He died that year. This month, on October 12th, MTC celebrated his birthday. He was born 122 years ago, and his love for his son is still changing lives today. This year, MTC is celebrating 70 years of uniting hope with opportunity, and we are celebrating at the Strass, Carol Mersani Hall, and we hope you all will join us. Today, together with the community, MTC continues to push the needle forward, always with hope for more and more inclusion, equity, and full participation for people with disabilities. We appreciate you for considering our founder, J. Clifford McDonald, for this incredible honor. We are so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. And please state your name for the record.
Phyllis Gutman.
All right, any comments or questions from council members? Yes, sir, Councilman Vieira?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and Phyllis, thank you as always. You know, you're such a wonderful person, and I love you a lot. You're a wonderful person, and just one of those people that I'm so lucky to know.
Thank you.
I mean that. And McDonald's Training Center is such a wonderful institution. You know, for anybody with a member with an intellectual disability in your family, you know about McDonald's Training Center, just like you know about Best Buddies or the Special Olympics or any other group, or Pepin, whatever it may be. My oldest brother is actually a client at McDonald's Training Center, Juan, over at the at James Ranch. So, you know, it's important to pay tribute to Mr. McDonald, who, you know, when he did what he did, people with parents raising kids with intellectual disabilities were shamed, still shamed today if you ask me, but a lot more back then, and told to go into hiding and forget about your kid and live life in shame. And he said no to that, and he built an institution, and because of him, look what we have today, because of his courage. You know, and like I always tell people, today, what are the issues that we need that courage on, like Mr. McDonald did 70 years ago, to be the J. Clifford McDonald of today on different issues that we have today involving people who need help and a voice. So just thank you, Phyllis. You're the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Vieira.
Councilman Miranda.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't be for the beginning of your speech presentation, but let me say this. I remember when I was a member of the West Tampa Sharifi Association many years ago, that club was totally dedicated to raising funds for McDonald Training Center, and you were in a different location then.
Yes.
And in fact, I remember it so well because I tell people we used to have horses in West Tampa, and they look at me and say, "This guy's nuts." Well, I already knew that, but it's what McDonald does for society, and the people who go there are working, and they're doing things. At last time I looked, they had a contract with the state and doing something for it. I don't know if that's still on, but they do a fantastic work and just as quick and just as good as anybody else. They're the best in the world, and I pledge to you that I will give a contribution to yours. Now that I remember what it was, I forget sometimes, you know, because we don't see each other that often. But thank you for what you are and what you're doing. Congratulations to you and your association.
Thank you, Councilman.
Anybody else? All right, thank you very much. The impact that McDonald Training Center has in this community is, there are no words. Councilmember Vieira knows firsthand, as was mentioned, you know, the good that organization does 70 years on, and may it continue for another 70 years and more. So thank you again. Councilman Vieira, would you like to read item number 10?
My pleasure. Move an ordinance being presented for first reading consideration. An ordinance of the City of Tampa, Florida, approving the placement of an honorary street naming sign at the intersection of West Cypress Street and North Rio Street in Tampa, Florida, to honor J. Clifford McDonald, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilmember Vieira, second from Councilmember Miranda. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Yes, ma'am.
Motion carried unanimously. Second reading and adoption will be held on November 16, 2023 at 9:30 a.m.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All
If I
right.
may, Councilman Miranda, that is the Sun Pass you were referring to.
Right.
We are the sole provider, and we have produced over 17 million Sun Passes.
That's
So
been
if you
going on.
have one, it came from McDonald Training Center.
How many years has that been going on? About 15 or 20?
It's been several years and 17 million trips.
I remember that. I remember visiting and seeing how they sorted out and everything else, so you're
Yes.
doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Van Loan. All right, we'll go to public comment. I believe we have 2 registered speakers. Is that correct? They're not on? Okay, so if anybody wishes to speak on any item on the agenda that is not set for a public hearing, please come up to the lectern, state your name, and you all have 3 minutes.
We're all in line. We're all in line.
Huh?
Well, come on.
You can speak about, just please come up and speak, and you can speak on anything, yes.
Thank
Please come up, then state your name, sir. Thank you.
Good afternoon, good morning. My name is Abdullah Jabir. I serve as the Executive Director for CARE Florida. That's the Council on American Islamic Relations. Earlier, we began this meeting saying liberty and justice for all. I want to say, what does that mean? We as a nation say this, but the question is, how do we practice this every single day? I want to address an issue that is within our borders, but that also goes beyond our borders, an issue of humanity. You know, there's something dark when we witness injustice and we address it superficially, not addressing the core issue. It becomes even darker when superficial words acknowledge the humanity of one group while ignoring and dehumanizing another, and we as a nation know that very well. This is called bigotry in its clearest terms. It's essential to recognize that every life is valuable. Wrong is wrong no matter who commits it. Earlier, Mr. Maniscalco said that we love history. So to that, I want to say that to that end, the current violence that persists in Palestine and Israel because of the illegal occupation of a people since 1948, this is not a 12-day conflict. Palestine is a 75-year-long ethnic cleansing supported by the U.S., our tax dollars, all of us, an occupation supported by the U.S., and Gaza today, a small strip of land, an open-air prison with more than 2 million civilians that we have failed to address, talk about, even mention. 2 million civilians, more than 1 million are children. We were talking about how important, how children bring the humanity within us, but no one has addressed how children, 1 million of them, whose food, water, and electricity has been cut off, and indiscriminate bombing of schools, hospitals, mosques, churches, and residential buildings. And 1 million of these people have already been displaced from their homes. Let me say that we have many American Palestinians, predominantly Muslim and Christians, who are trapped right now in Gaza. Our president, governor, or any other elected officials have failed to mention anything about them. We again are dehumanizing Americans yet again. Today we see only unilateral support of one side and complete ignorance of Palestinians in the Muslim community and allies. The bigotry that emanates from social media, and also irresponsible politicians and institutions who have lost their moral compass. I want to say very quickly that our elected officials have a role to play in addressing these issues. Right now, as I stand in front of you, the bigoted rhetoric that we see from our president, from the governor, from elected officials, from our mayor in this city, and other members of the city council have only fueled a dangerous situation that has led to harming the Muslim, Palestinian, and allies. In the past number of days, we've seen violent assaults on Muslims, allies, students being targeted by law enforcement, harassment and bullying on campus, death threats, vandalism, doxing, and incitement of violence and intimidation against the Muslim, Palestinian, and allies. I say this again, when we see humanity of one group and not another, that is bigotry. I pray that every innocent life is protected here and everywhere, suffering is uplifted, and every injustice faces justice, even if it be an ally. Thank you
very much, sir. All right. Next speaker. Yes, ma'am. Please say your name.
My name is Aida Machkic. Many of you, respected council members, know me personally. Thank you for your time today. I'm a genocide survivor. I survived the war in Bosnia from 92 to 95. I immigrated to this country as a war refugee. And as a genocide survivor from Bosnia, we stated never again. This happened in the 90s. We are at a crucial moment. The devastation and genocide that's happening in Palestine on our watch will be remembered. And those of us on the side of history, what side you are on, you will be remembered. For the last 2 weeks, politicians like yourselves and the mainstream media have been regurgitating dangerous rhetoric without a care to the consequences of it. The humanitarian catastrophe being suffered by those currently living in Gaza by the Israeli government is intentionally being omitted. Just October 7th, I want to remind everyone here, Israel has violated at least 17 international human rights according to the Statute of International Criminal Courts. But here, in the city of Tampa, from the mayor to the city council to the police, they have shown us time and time again that we, Muslims, Arab, Palestinians, do not matter. It is not right. It is not helpful from any of you elected officials to have your asymmetrical statements posted and to expect unity in our community. You need to know that this city council here is made to protect against all form of bigotry. That's anti-Semitism. That's against Islamophobia, racism. But we've seen time and time again that we have not done that job. I've heard that there is certain language. What I fear is that you will come up with a definition of anti-Semitism that has been adopted in other places, and I'm going to use our neighbors in St. Pete as an example, where it uses the definition put forth by the IHRA, please read this, It says, we conclude that the definition and its list of examples ought to be rejected. The urgency to do so stems from the fact that pro-Israel activists can and have mobilized the IHRA document for political goals. All to say, this definition equates to the critique and acts of the Israeli government as anti-Semitic. We are all against anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, racism, bigotry of any kind. I asked the city council if any motion was to be drafted, it is to be inclusive of every community. We do not want to go back to post 9/11 and during Trump's Muslim ban and the hate that our communities have felt here locally. Mothers here are scared. We are scared to send our kids to school. 6-year-old boy was murdered in Chicago. We live in Florida. I am counting on and I know every single one of you, so I hope any motion that is passed is inclusive. You're welcome.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much. Pastor Williams. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Give me a little time to get myself together, please. My name is Pastor Frank Williams, located at 1112 East Scott Street. And the reason I'm here, and I keep coming back, because I want to see justice, just like these people just got through speaking. And we definitely want you to treat us like we are citizens, regardless of what our belief is. Treat us like we're citizens of the United States of America. Please, in the name of Jesus Christ. But you know what? I went to a courthouse. That courthouse was right downtown. And look here. I had my Bible with me. And I put it on my desk. And you know what the judge told me? I got to take that Bible out of there. And not only take the Bible out of there, but he told me to stay out of there. That's the way kind of court we're running nowadays, where people don't have no respect for God Almighty and don't have no respect for one another and mistreat people only because of the color of their skin. And they took me to court. And the reason they took me to court, because when Mayor Jan Freeman, whatever her name is, Jan Casper, when they took her, she sent a bunch of police down to my church. And you know what they did? They telling wasn't nothing built over there then. They were telling the people they illegally parked. Ain't that something? And wasn't no cars or no traffic coming through there. And so I had to shut down my church because they cut my lights off. Not only cut my lights off, cut my water off, cut everything off, broke out my windows, and they still breaking them out as we speak. And you know what? Y'all call yourself city councilman, and you don't know nobody come around there want to talk. I bought this here down here and told them to give a copy, and they never called me back and never said nothing. That's because the people want to take my home now away from me. They want to take everything away from me. And so I got a foreclosure letter. They come around there taking pictures and everything, calling me up on the phone. You gonna sell your property? You want to sell your property? I said, no, I don't want to sell my property. Where am I live at once I sell my property? As if they care. They don't give a damn. And some of you city councilors don't give a damn. But I was giving one this copy here to your lawyers here, but they made up a copy for him, but I never heard nothing from them, none about it. And that's a damn shame. Yet, we pay taxpayers just like anybody else, but people neglect to tell us the truth and treat us like citizens. You know what they told me? They told me they're gonna give me, stop ringing that thing, please. Look here, you know what they told me? They're gonna give me 40 acres and a mule. Let me tell y'all something, I don't want the 40 acres and I don't want the mule.
Thank you very much.
I want y'all to pay me on installment what y'all had offered to pay me.
Thank you very much.
And God will bless y'all for doing the right thing. You don't have to thank me. Just do what you're supposed to do. And God is so good to all of us. And I don't know why y'all skip on the program, public comment, why y'all skip over that? Let everybody else come up here and say what they wanna say and do what they wanna do. But you neglect to hear us, people that wanna speak the truth. And the way y'all treating us nowadays, we are at the wall. It's not only just
Thank you very
the
much, sir.
Israelites at the wall, we are at the wall. And
Thank
we
you
ain't
very
fighting
much.
back.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. And we got to fight back, people. White and black, fight back together. This ain't no race war. They don't give a damn about nobody.
Yes, ma'am. Next speaker?
Ready?
Yes, go ahead. Please state your name.
My name is Mirna. I'm a Palestinian that happens to be living in Tampa instead of Gaza. For the past 2 weeks, I have been watching the atrocities against Palestinians. Hospitals, ambulances, schools, mosques, churches, homes, and media centers have all been targeted by Israeli war strikes. No one is safe. There is no safe place to go. Gaza is an open-air prison where everything is controlled by Israel. You cannot fly over Gaza without Israeli permission. You cannot go deep into the water without Israeli permission. You cannot cross the border without Israeli permission. All goods coming in and out of Gaza is controlled by Israel. Not just baby formula, medicine, pencils, food, but also water and electricity. Everything. Over 1,000 children have been murdered in the past 2 weeks alone, but that didn't just start 2 weeks ago. That has been going on for the past 75 years. I'm here to address what is happening in our community. In the past week, the city of Tampa has shown more support to Israelis than it has shown to Palestinians for the past 75 years. Tampa has lit the city hall blue, donated medical and protective equipment to Israel, and tightened security at synagogues. The state of Florida has also spent $4 million on evacuating 270 people to Tampa. Where is your support for Palestinians when Israel killed 319 people in 2001, 204 in 2002, or over 4,000 and counting just this year alone? And throughout all of these atrocities, we are asked to stay silent. We are asked to assimilate to a culture that doesn't want us. We are asked to hold our grief because those people deserve it. Prominent members of the city, including you on city council, have been using language that is inciting fear and hate against Muslims, Palestinians, and Arab communities. Your words matter. Ignoring the Palestinian suffering and tragedy through all of this is leading to a false narrative about who is causing harm to who. Hate crime in Florida and the United States has increased in our community. On October 15th, a white supremacist in Chicago brutally stabbed and murdered 16-year-old Palestinian Wadi al-Fayoum. He was stabbed 26 times. And this atrocities act was fueled by the Islamophobic and anti-Palestinian racism fueled by politicians and mainstream media. We cannot stand by and allow you to be complicit in spreading this hate. Your words matter. If something is to happen in our city, just know their blood is on your hands. We asked any proposals of discriminations and bigotry, also include conversations with our community. We asked you to condemn these attacks on Muslims, Arabs, and Palestinians.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good morning, Connie Burton. So much, but I want to first start off and say slavery did not benefit black people.
Thank you.
And if only people had the courage to not only pass resolutions, but look toward how we can solve the problems, then we would have made a roadmap that we can solve greater problems that we see going on in the world today. It's not going to disappear. It don't matter if you feel that it is to your political benefit to be on the side of those that look like you. The oppressed and oppressed of the world is simply saying no more. That we are tired of having land taken away from us. We are tired of the constant gentrification, the ignorance of our tax dollars to do some of the basic things that we need to see done right here at home. Again, in 2020, you passed the resolution acknowledging the fact that you knew that not only the United States had did harm against African people, but Tampa benefited. And then when we look inside of the agenda every week, it don't support that you understand that. Giving names to and accommodations to people, to one individual and to one family, it does nothing good for the majority of our people. Our community needs real jobs. You want to know why Heartline can't meet that number that it once had? It's because you have dispersed our people. Our people are gone. And people that have money that has moved back into this community, into once land site where black folks have lived, now you have to build big old garages because they refuse to use public transportation. So it is all coming back to what our dear brother Malcolm said, chickens coming home to roost. I want to just speak to item number 484. Don't nobody want it in their backyard. Nobody want a returning citizen coming back into their community. But I would say that if the police department do not talk about people that have had reoccurring offense, people that have paid their debt to society and is coming back inside of these communities, no matter how much you want to upgrade your community to look like Bayshore, people got to have somewhere to live. Why not allow people to come back where services are available to them, the ability to get to those services more quickly so we can see real turnaround? All of this chasing people out that you don't want there is something that the community can no longer afford.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Morning, Tis not. I'd like to leave this for the council. And that's some information about a personal situation, but it's a big public situation. Just like they say they should abolish slavery, they should abolish child support. That's some information I'd like the city council to review and give the chief judge a call, give Chief Judge Christopher Sabella a call and tell him to get that situation straight. But I want to say this. First, I want to say uhuru, because uhuru means freedom in Swahili, and we as African people should always be thinking about our freedom. I want to say this, and I want you to understand this. I said it last week when no one was here. When the Zionists was going up against the people of occupied Palestine with no mercy. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Palestine. Hiroshima, a crazy fool, madman, Truman dropped an atomic bomb on a civilian population. Nagasaki, the same crazy man dropped an atomic bomb on a civilian population. And now we have Palestine, a place where they've been occupying since May 15th, 1948. And they say Hitler did them wrong. They should have given them a piece of land in Germany or in France or in Poland where the people really did them wrong, where the people tried to eliminate their existence off this planet Earth. White folks don't see it like that. Capitalism don't see it like that. But one thing you have to know and understand, when you say the word Palestine, it's like saying the word nigger. When you say the word terrorist, it's the buzzword for nigger. When you say the word thug, it's the buzzword for nigger. And y'all call us niggers in our face every single day, and y'all treat us like that. 623 years we've been treated like that. You got a crazy man, Joseph Biden, talking about a hospital that was bombed. He said, oh, I think it was the other team. Like it's an MF in sport. They probably already murdered 10,000 people in Palestine. And they laughing about it. But that's how we're treated right here in America. It's no difference in the way we're treated right here in America. And you can see it in that paperwork that I just gave you. The court's crooked, the judge is crooked, The state attorney's crooked. The city's crooked. And what's going on right now is very crooked. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am. Please state your name. You have 3 minutes.
I'm asking that you give everyone a chance to speak. People have been running over. I'm Kelly Grimsdale, 2701 North 9th Street. I sent a lengthy email last night with a lot of important information. I hope that you all take the time to read it. I'm here again regarding the clustering of sexually predatory people in Viamibor. As of this morning, we have 72 within a quarter mile of my house and 91 within a half mile. There is only one location in the entire county with a higher concentration, and that is Orient County Jail. And then we actually have more within a quarter mile of our neighborhood than Falkenberg Road Jail. I know that TPD asked a USF professor to deliver a report to you. I cannot imagine that there is anything that she can say that will make this right and that will assure us that all of our residents are as safe as anyone else living in any area of the city. There is an inherent recidivism rate with these individuals, and the DOJ itself thinks that it is underreported. And the last time we were here, Bill Carlson made a comment about another agenda item about not pushing issues down the road for a future council to solve. I am asking for action today. Most of our neighborhood, including Nebraska Avenue up to 21st Avenue, are part of a local historic district. How are we honoring that historic significance by allowing our major economic corridor to be a mini penal colony? And why would the city want one of the major corridors going into downtown to feature 2 rooming houses, each stuffed with 30 people and 3,200 square feet, filled with ex-cons and sexually predatory people? It is no wonder that we've had 0 economic development in our neighborhood, whereas every other area within the urban core is thriving. We currently have 8 sexually predatory people in Viamibor listed as transient, and guess what? Most, if not all, came from those 2 rooming houses. And how is it a predator whose victim is, I don't know if that comes up, whose victim was under 12 and who pled guilty on July 2021 is allowed to list his address as a crossroads at Nebraska and Forest Avenue? Please let me know if you'd like this individual wandering your neighborhood unmonitored. Supposedly, there are only 3 locations that meet all the release requirements where these offenders may live. I bet you I could find other locations. One of the locations where they supposedly can live went from 50 offenders living within 1 mile of the Dutch Motel down to 11, so South Seminole Heights, and the number living within 1 mile of the East Hillsborough Avenue location increased. It seems pretty clear that someone is choosing which neighborhoods will thrive while others are left to degrade. I am asking City Council to put pressure on the city's departments to enforce all the codes, reduce the number to 16 per building as what would happen in any other area of Tampa for those 2 rooming houses. I'm asking you to enforce this county's anti-clustering ordinance. It's never been enforced because there is no other concentration of sexually predatory people in any other area of Tampa other than Viamibor. And I'm also asking you to give us an opportunity to be safe and thrive. As I've said many times before, if you housed 57 people together, what do you think they would learn to do if they were bank robbers? They would rob banks better. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Hello, my name is Luis Salazar. I'm here today to speak to you about equality. I learned equality through my mother, who, as a young child, I grew up on the border of Arizona, and I don't remember any day that I was growing up that we didn't have refugees coming to our house that were being fed and clothed by my mother. I learned those values from her. And I learned certain things about equality. Equality doesn't belong to anyone, no religion, no creed. It is equal to all of us. And number 2, that sometimes you have to fight for equality for people that probably wouldn't fight it for you, because that's how sacred that word is. Equality is for all people. I, as a veteran, I know the impact of war, and in war, there are no winners, there are only victims. There's a word in Arabic that I got to learn when I studied it. It's called inshallah. It means God willing. In Spanish, we have a very similar word. It says ojalá. That word, I hope, resonates in you. God willing, this war ends, and God willing, we have a peaceful resolution. But take no heed that we are watching, and whatever comes out of this chamber, I urge you to remember everybody that is involved and be equal in the words that you say, because everybody is a victim in this. There's a great man that fought for equality that I want to leave you with his words, and that's JFK. Freedom is indivisible. And when one man is enslaved, no one is free. Remember those words. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, ma'am. Please state your name.
Kim Hedlund, 1023 East 17th Avenue. I am here to speak on agenda item number 84. I moved to the VM Ybor neighborhood almost 24 years ago. At that time, there was not the concentration of offenders and sex offenders and predators that my community has today. Since then, thousands of offenders have been deliberately funneled into our community by the Department of Corrections, much to the financial benefit of just a few property owners. Unfortunately, this is to the huge detriment of the community as a whole. It's to the detriment of the economic and commercial corridor that is Nebraska Avenue. It's to the detriment of the historic structures that have been chopped up to house more than 30 individuals each. It's to the detriment of the at-risk population who are now warehoused in substandard housing. As of this morning, there are 91 offenders and predators living within a half-mile of my home. The vast majority of these folks are living in just 3 structures on a single block of Nebraska Avenue. This number does not include those folks that are transients that simply don't have a home but are listing an intersection as an address. For your perspective, City of Tampa has approximately 1 sex offender or predator for every 300 residents. Our neighborhood has 1 for every 29 residents. That's an impact, that's a density. I asked council today, why is this okay anywhere in our city? Why is it okay for the Department of Corrections to deliberately push people, most of which, or many of which, have convictions outside of Hillsborough County, from Pinellas, from Manatee, from Citrus, from Monroe, even Kentucky, to just 3 clustered areas in underserved communities in the city of Tampa? Why is that okay? Would that be okay 1 block from your house? Would you be okay letting your teen walk 2 blocks to play basketball when they have to pass in front of these houses on that 1 block? Would you be okay sending your 9-year-old daughter to stand at her elementary school bus stop on Nebraska Avenue, right there, on that block? Again, this has been a really systematic and deliberate release of individuals to just 3 locations in the city of Tampa for an awfully long time. VM Ybor is one of those locations, again, a single block on Nebraska Avenue. So today I'm asking council to address this very real issue, the issue that's inherent in dumping an at-risk population in extremely high density just to a handful of areas within our city limits. I'm asking the city to work with the Department of Corrections to address the clear and systemic practice of disproportionate directing of parolees and advocate for a more equitable distribution, a more regional approach to this. I'm asking the city to address the very real life safety concerns of cramming 30 individuals in a single 3,000 square foot house. Please consider our community, our business owners, our stakeholders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please state your name.
Good morning. My name is Teresa Justin. I'm also here to address item 84 about the clustering of the sex offenders. I stand here today as a citizen that feels let down by the institutions that are supposed to represent her. I stood here 2 years ago actually to talk about this exact same issue, and I don't think this is really being addressed with the importance that it should be. We all know the facts. There is an anti-clustering ordinance for sex offenders in place right now, and it's being violated every day, like it doesn't matter. We have the Department of Corrections disproportionately sending these people here. Why? I don't know. That's a great question, isn't it? We have the Fire Prevention Code being violated today. I'm gonna tell you something. I work with a lot of architects and contractors every day. Those people are so afraid of the code, you have no idea. It's kind of funny to watch. They all have to comply by it. Maybe they fear it more than the IRS. It's insane. And then I see in these places, they are violating that code flagrantly, and nobody cares. Nobody does anything about that. These houses, they should have a limit of 16 people. There's 30 people living in each house of these houses. That's like feeding people in there like they were sardines. God knows what kind of situation or what are the conditions that they're currently living in. For what? For the profit of a slumlord that is profiting so much because they only get paid in cash and no receipts, thank you. Like, does that sound good? I'm here today because I am tired of the double standard. Would this be allowed on Hyde Park? Would this be allowed in Davis Island? No, heck, it wouldn't in a million years. Then why are we allowing that here? Why, until very recently, I think, or maybe even now, there's school bus stops that are right in front of these houses. Make no mistakes, these are a marginalized group that nobody wants. I feel bad that they're being exploited for the profit of some people, but it's not our responsibility as a neighborhood to have to deal with this problem. I'm sure there's solutions. I know that this is a complex problem, but it should be not our responsibility to alone deal with this. We can even have transparency about, are these people committing these crimes again? There's absolutely no transparency. We don't have access to those records. How would you feel if your daughter alone was living nearby? Or would you think, well, you better move out of there? Because if your thinking is, you better move out of there because nothing is going to change, I think there's something really wrong here. There's something really wrong with us. So I'm going to tell you something today. I feel like a second-class citizen because I feel like, no, we are not being heard. I left a socialist country 8 years ago because I was tired of the corruption and the complicity of the government. And I came here and I became a citizen of this great nation because I thought we were all equal and nobody was above the law. Please do not bring me wrong.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Okay, I'm Devin Jester. I'm also with the BME group here. I moved to the area just about a little over a year ago now, and like Teresa said, you know, not wanting to move your kids here. I live with my fiance and his son, 9 years old, and it is scary. You know, he can't walk out the front door alone. Like I love the neighborhood. I love the community. I've never lived in a community that's has this tight knit. Everybody loves each other. Everybody looks out for each other. So I just want to emphasize we're here with a lot of passion, but it's because we care about the community and we care about our neighbors. So I'm just keeping this short because I'm new to the area. They said a lot, but we really appreciate you guys listening. We'll appreciate it even more when we see some action. So thank you.
Much, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please state your name.
Good morning. My name is Bobby Creighton. I live at 1213 East 33rd Avenue. I wanted to start by saying I thought it was really touching to see that young lady with a stutter come up and share her story. In my professional life and my other job, as I like to call it, I'm a speech language pathologist. I work with geriatric patients and adults in acute care and outpatient, so I don't have very many stutterers, but I always tell my patients and clients to be your own best advocate, because a lot of times for people with disabilities, no one else is going to really do it for you. So she did that in spades today, so I just want to say congratulations to her, and that was so beautiful to see. But I'm also here to speak on item 84. I wish that report would have been entered into SIRE, because I like to see the data before I talk about things. It wasn't in there, so I took a peek through some of the material that was uploaded. Some of the questions that I would have about this situation are, how often are we assessing for new locations? Is there a protocol? Is there a timeline? Is there some sort of cycle that they start to look at? Some of these offenders are grandfathered in, where the distance requirements don't apply to them. If they're getting funding for their housing, is there a way where we can kind of diminish the density of the sexual offenders in the neighborhood by offering those people new housing in other areas, you know, where it would be more appropriate? There were services mentioned earlier. What types of services are available in the area? Are they actually being utilized by the people in these houses? I don't know. The report wasn't available. Hopefully it looks at that, because if there are services and programs, I mean, you know, these people need help and they should be joining them. Are they employed? Where do they work? How do they travel through our neighborhoods? These are all questions that I have that I don't know the answer to. How many are coming? Is it a steady rate? We just don't know. So that report, I think, was requested like 2 years ago. We still don't have it today, which is a little bit frustrating. I love history. I love the history of Nebraska Avenue. I think it's really interesting. The interstate came, the neighborhoods around it started to decline. The motels that were used for travel turned into havens for sex work. People saw the blight and slum and thought, this is the part of Tampa we can push all of our dirty business. So now we have a concentration of sex offenders and a concentration of homeless people that might not have been there 20 or 30 years ago. So we do what we can as neighborhood residents and as members of neighborhood associations, but there's only so much we can do. These choices aren't just accidents of history. This isn't just an incidental condition. People made choices for this to occur. So I'm asking for the city to do whatever they can to try to help us out of this situation, because we're doing our best where we can, and I would love to see some action on your part. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Hi, I'm Daphne Thomas, and I am here today to talk about number 84 as well. Whenever these people talked, they gave their perspective, and I understand that. But I want to talk about the other side. The current residency rules restrict these people from living within a 1,000-foot radius from schools, daycares, parks, playgrounds, and often bus stops. These restrictions isolate registrants, which is what I call them, from entire communities, pushing them towards the low-income areas such as Ybor. Consequently, clustering occurs as they have very limited options for compliant housing. It is crucial to acknowledge that these individuals are not selecting these locations voluntarily. Rather, legal constraints compel them to reside in these areas. Many of them have been explicitly informed that they cannot live with their own family, friends, or even their own home because of these regulations. Moreover, these restrictions can lead to homelessness for those with no alternative. Effectively addressing this clustering issue requires a comprehensive approach that goes beyond mere relocation. One potential solution entails reassessing residency restrictions, exploring nuanced strategies that prioritize public safety without inadvertently fostering densely populated clusters that strain communities and instill unwarranted fear. By revisiting these restrictions, we can broaden housing options for registrants, reducing their concentration in specific areas and facilitating successful reintegration by providing stable living conditions and improved access to support services. In conclusion, it is imperative to address the housing challenges faced by registrants for the well-being of these individuals, their families, and the broader community. Reconsidering these rules can strike a balance between public safety and the opportunity for registrants to rebuild their lives. I urge you to refrain from implementing any additional ordinances that may further hinder their transition into society. Thank you for your attention to this very important matter.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, please state your name.
Eddie Fordham. Thank you, Council, for allowing me to be here today. I would like to share with you a story about the redemptive power of grace and mercy. When I was 18 years old and a senior in high school, I was sentenced to life in prison. I served 31 years, 2 months, and 8 days in 17 maximum security prisons across the state of Florida, nothing less than closed custody. My sentence said that I would never see the light of freedom again, but God had a different plan for my life. I was paroled last year by the grace of the Florida Parole Commission. I'm living in Hillsborough County, and I've been thriving. I returned to college, and I earned a degree at Hillsborough Community College with a 4.0 GPA. I made the dean's list and am the first justice-impacted student to receive the prestigious Academic Achievement Award. I have a great job at a fair chance employer by the name of Feeding Tampa Bay. I've been promoted and have received a raise. When I first came out, I went into a transition home in the Jackson Heights neighborhood. That transition home provided a foundation for me to be able to make a successful transition to a life of freedom. I understand today that there's a clustering issue here in Tampa, but I want to say that where those people are registered and where they are at, they're receiving the services that they need. When my community control officer came to the transition home, he didn't have to go and look for us. He knew exactly where we were. I hate to think what would have happened to me and some of my brothers who were also in prison for 30 or 40 years if we had been dispersed and forced underground. I'm just so grateful for ministries like Noah's Community Outreach Center and the congregation at St. John's Cathedral. That neighborhood did not argue against my residents there. They embraced it. They came out and invited us to barbecues, and in turn, we became servants in the church and helped clean the compound around the church after the storm. A. Brown Ministries allowed me to enter into their 6-week program and gave me professional development that allowed me to get my job at Feeding Tampa Bay. I hate to think what would happen if this ordinance were enforced. I think for good reason, logically, that since 2008, it has not been enforced because we know that dispersing these people would put greater strains on already limited resources like our homeless shelters and our jails and our hospitals. Thank you for allowing me to share a little bit of my journey and my successful transition to a life of freedom. I hope that something that I said today gave you food for thought and can help shift the conversation to the redemptive power of grace and mercy. And finally, I just want to say, I understand the concerns of the neighborhood. It is important, and I know you have a tough job to do. But I thank you for also considering the rest of us that live in these neighborhoods as well.
Thank you very much, sir. All right, next speaker. Please state your name, sir.
My name's Thomas Horsley. This is my first city council meeting, and let me say I've been very impressed with our representatives on the council here. I understand we're having a report from USF later today. I hope that you will give that your careful attention. I am a homeowner in Tampa. I'm not here for myself, but for the people who are in this clustering situation. I appreciate the neighborhood people who spoke with their concerns. I share many of their concerns, and one answer to that would be to lift the housing restrictions and let people live elsewhere with their family members. Imagine living with a parent or a child and having a good situation. They describe some of the problems with this clustering situation. But what would happen if the clustering ordinance is strictly enforced? Where are these people going to go? My understanding is many of them would become homeless. When I go to bed at night, I plug my phone in, and in the morning, my phone is ready to go. But imagine you're living in the woods, you have nowhere to plug it in, and in the morning, your boss calls you to come to work, but you can't answer because your phone is dead. So we know that homelessness is one of the prime reasons of people not integrating back into society, and I think that's something we should be looking to avoid. So I hope you would consider the possible outcomes of this Ordinance 84 and give it careful attention before you make a decision. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you very much. Council members, we're at 12 o'clock. I told everyone that we would do a hard stop at 12. We have a few people left for public comment. Should we finish the public
Yes.
comment and then? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
So next speaker, please state your name.
Can you
Yes,
see
sir.
him sitting here?
Yes, we see him. Yes, sir, please state your name.
My name's Brian Hinkler. I went to prison in 2004 for sexual abuse. When I got out in 2016, I was put on the side of the road with no place to go. I went back in 2019 for failure to register, and when I got back out in 2021, I went right back to the same side of the road that I was put in 2014. It's very difficult. I'm in a wheelchair. I've been like this since 1985. I'm still struggling trying to get back up to where I need to be. They took me off SSI because they want me to go through a review. My leg ain't never gonna grow back. Why should I go for a review of what I'm doing every year when my leg ain't never gonna grow back? I'm fighting for my disability. I finally got a place where I don't have to sleep outside all the time. I'm struggling, all I can do. I just hope you guys realize that it's not easy for everybody, I haven't been in trouble since 2004. So I'm trying. I just hope you guys just have it in your heart to help people, get back into civilization. I'm not good at talking to people, and so I get stammered up of what to say and what not to say. But I just hope you guys realize we're going through. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, ma'am, please state your name.
Kristen Phillips. I'm here to talk on 84 as well. So I can easily stand here and provide you with copy of study after study, statistic after statistic, supporting the fact that the current laws in place to regulate and restrict those convicted of sex offenses throughout our country, state, county, and city are ineffective, expensive for taxpayers, and actually do nothing at all to protect children. In fact, there's such an overwhelming body of evidence to this point to support this fact that it's almost indisputable and actually amazing that our elected officials even consider making these things more restrictive. In Florida, there are currently 52 residency requirements for people on the sex offense registry. We started off with 3 in 1997 and have grown exponentially to the 52 by 2020. Failure to fulfill any of these requirements could lead up to 5 years of imprisonment, even for the tens of thousands of Florida residents who are now law-abiding citizens. As I'm sure you're aware, rehabilitation and re-entry into society are important components of the criminal justice system. They're crucial in helping individuals who have served their sentences reintegrate back into society in a productive and law-abiding manner. A big part of this is providing them with the necessary tools and support they need to actually help them find employment, secure stable housing, and access to necessary services. Residency and clustering restrictions severely limit the available housing options for registered citizens, making it difficult for them to find places to live. Stable housing is a significant factor in reducing recidivism rates, and by limiting housing options, we place huge roadblocks onto successful reintegration. Positive reintegration programs do work. Through the advocacy work that I have been doing, I've met amazing people who have turned their lives around. I could tell you about a man who served 10 years for a crime he committed as a teenager that involved drug charges and a manslaughter charge after killing someone in a drug deal gone wrong. When he was released, he was put into programs that helped him get stable housing, and he's now a full-time college student. For 13 years, I lived 5 doors down from a man I got to know because we both walked our dogs regularly. Shortly before I moved, I accidentally found out he had done 15 years in prison for another drug deal gone wrong situation where he had killed someone. He never bothered anyone and actually was a great neighbor. Neither one of these people would have been able to reintegrate if they were on some sort of convicted murder registry. I support any effort to safeguard our communities, but residency and clustering restrictions have been proven to be ineffective, and I would argue do more harm than good. So I'm asking you not to impose any further restrictions on the registered citizens living in our city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yes, ma'am, please state your name.
Tammy Ferrer and my husband Frank Ferrer. We are the parents of Cody Kurtz. Cody is 26 years old, and he was killed on August 27th by Franklin Christophers, 85 years old. This is a piece of Cody, ashes in a bag. This is what I have left. He was everything to me, everything. We are here today to raise the red flag as a matter of public safety. And not only as devastated and grieving parents, but as extremely concerned citizens. Christophers remains on the road with a valid driver's license. Christophers pulled straight out from 41st Street into the middle of the street rather than making a right-hand turn into the right-hand lane. Cody was in the middle lane riding his motorcycle Sunday afternoon when Christophers violated his right-of-way straight into the street and killed him. In May, 3 months earlier, he did the same thing in the same location, exactly the same way, bolting across the lanes, because it's so important that he hurry and make it to the U-turn. and he hit a young girl named Jahira and her 4-year-old daughter. All the cars were towed, and everyone went to the hospital. And at that incident, the officer or nobody checked the box on the citation that Christopher's be reevaluated. If that would have happened, maybe Cody would be here and not dead. Franklin Christophers is not only dangerous, he's deadly. He's proven that. And he's still driving right now here in Tampa. We are haunted knowing that he's still in the streets. We can't drive down Hillsborough Avenue knowing he's there every single day. We are appalled that the first detective suggested to us that Christopher's be charged with a civil infraction. We're grateful that Corporal Wells is now our point of contact. I have to skip through a lot. I'm here to beg you, please, any one of you, all of you, please talk to who you need to and get his license taken. There's months between now and another court hearing, and just like he's done now, he can easily do it again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Please state your name.
I'm Bruce Mills. I'm a resident of Florida, graduated from Robinson, and I'm really impressed with the amount of stuff you guys have to handle in one day. And I took some notes earlier of things I heard that I want to remember when I leave here. I'm also here to discuss the issue of the item 84. So what I've heard today so far is liberty and justice for all. It takes a good man to support it takes a good woman to support a man. Be all you can be. A hardship is a hardship. Barriers can be overcome, and one chromosome doesn't determine a person's outcome, and neither does one conviction determine a person's outcome. I was convicted in '93, back when there was only 2 or 3 ordinances. Now there's 54, and the number keeps growing. I've managed to get a split sentence, which allowed me to get back out on the street and provide for my family, which I've done. And I do support child support. I believe that's important. When I started thinking about what would I have to say, I wanted to remind you guys of things you already know also, which came to me. One is Maslow's theory of hierarchy. What does it take to become a self-actualized person? And housing is one of those things. Something else I wanted to share is what are the basic elements or criteria for a person to have post-traumatic stress disorder? I think about the hundreds of people under the freeway down in Miami. I'm pretty sure they're all victims of post-traumatic stress disorder without treatment. The benefit of me getting into the system and getting caught is that I learned things I needed to know that I didn't know, and now I do. And I went on to have a successful career as a tradesman and eventually a carpentry company providing services to general contractors and hospitals. So I believe I'm a testimony to that there is hope when it doesn't seem hopeless. And if a person wants to choose to believe that once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic, once a sex offender, always a sex offender, you can wear those labels, but at the end of the day, there is change available if you're willing to change. And my last comment has to do with something Jesus said, love one another. And he says, if you don't do it to the least of these, my brethren, you're not doing it to me. So on a spiritual plane, what I do to another person affects myself because we're all one people. That's all.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Please state your name.
Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Blaisdell, Florida citizen. I had a speech prepared, but then I've heard so much up here today, esteemed councilmen and women. and you have a tough job in front of you. But I am here to address number 84 on your agenda today, and you've heard a lot of things. One thing I would like to let you hear about is a volunteer, myself, that is the person in touch with people in prison that are getting out and that are going to be required to be on the registry as well. So last week, every week, I have conversations with classification officers in prison, as well as the probation officers in the different counties across our state. And every time it's the same story. Not approved. Address, not approved. Address, not approved. We go through probably 12 to 20 addresses per person before everybody gives up. So what then happens when they say there is no place for them to go? First of all, it breaks my heart because, as he mentioned, Maslow's hierarchy, that is one of our most basic needs, along with air and food. So first of all, it does that. Second of all, they end up at their probation officer. The day they get out, they must report. And their probation officer actually tells them where to go, whether it's a parking lot or the woods with a tent. If they have no one, like organizations such as myself helping them. Oftentimes we'll help them to get a hotel, a motel that is approved. And then you're faced with these issues. Okay, so what I'm telling you is this all comes from government oversight to begin with, okay? So as we continue to increase residency restrictions and we can continue to look at these clustering issues, we have to consider where is it that they're going to go. Would you rather them be in the woods? If you would, that's where they are. Is that really addressing public safety? It isn't. So therefore, the address that they actually put on there, and that's probation that puts those addresses on there, not the person registering that is transient. Probation puts that address on there, and they're the ones who are making these maps and so on. So let's talk amongst the professionals, the police departments, DOC, sheriff's departments, and try and come up with some better solutions like that were mentioned earlier today. Really appreciate your time. I appreciate you hearing everybody. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. I'll look forward to the USF study.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're in recess until 1 o'clock.